Hey, what's happening, everybody? This is Blair Johnson with the Badass Records Podcast, wanting to let you know about Brewery Imperial at 1829 Oak Street here in Kansas City. I've known Keith and Julie for 25 and 20-ish years, respectively. It's their spot, and it's super fantastic with a super large outdoor beer garden and a delicious scratch menu with great food offerings. You can see them online at breweryimperial.com or give them a buzz at 816-610-8828. Keep tabs on them via Facebook or Instagram. You can place your order online with them. They've got, as of this moment, on tap 2 varieties of the Ursa Major Imperial Stout and Imperial IPA. The English ESB meets APA Infamous Biscuit, a lower brow pale lager, a brown, a hazy IPA, a Pilsner, a ginger shandy, and a Hefeweizen. You can also get 6-pack bottles to go in the old biscuit or the Pilsner. We've also got 1, 2, and 3 varieties of that delicious Ursa Major as well. So make sure to include Brewery Imperial, that's Imperial with an E, as part of your next outing, be it for drinks with friends or for some food and enjoyment with family. Breweryimperial.com. Check them out. Have a craft beer. Support independently owned establishments in Kansas City. You won't regret it. Hey everybody, it's time for another episode of Badass Records Podcast, and this week I'm happy to welcome Tasha Ransom in the house. She is a musician, a painter, a photographer, and a writer. You can check her out and give her a follow, please, at Tasha Ransom Art on Instagram. It's TASHARANSOM. She's also on the web at TashaRansomArt.com, and you can find her on YouTube as well. Search Tasha Ransom Art there. Episodes of the podcast come out on Thursdays in a perfect world. They are viewable on YouTube and streamable/downloadable where you stream. Website's badassrecordspodcast.com. You can keep track of the podcast via the socials known as Instagram and Twitter. And if you need to shout at me, it's badassrecordspodcast@gmail.com. Appreciate you stopping by. Hope you enjoy the show. Okay, so we
No
got
rush.
we got the marker there as our reminder to have you sign when we're done.
Oh, good.
I think this will be episode 173 of Badass Records Podcast. Tasha Ransom in the house. Thanks for being here. Very lovely to meet you.
Hello, Blair. Likewise.
And I share this from time to time, but the very beginning was friends and family and restaurant people from all the years that I did that. And then from there, it's almost exclusively perfect strangers.
That's awesome.
When I open the door. And so most of the time, like when I open that door, it's a good vibe. Yeah. And I'm like, and I think mutually, like, and so it's every once in a while, it's like, oh, fuck, this person is in my house now.
How's this gonna go?
Get them the phone on there. But shouts out to Morgan Agason for connecting us.
Absolutely.
And thank you for replying to my outreach. I spend more time than I should being curious at the camps of folks that do reply, never reply, right, and then sometimes reply and then kind of vanish.
Sure.
And I wonder, are folks, gonna, he's only got block this
Right.
this number of followers. Like, why bother?
Oh, man.
I wonder if folks do
wonder,
that. You
I
know,
wonder if they just don't think, they're like, is this guy real? Is this a bot? That's always what I'm looking for. Like, is this a bot? This has to be a robot. Like, first comments, like, love it, girl. Post pics XX1257. I'm like, okay, you're not a person.
well, anyway, thank you very much
Absolutely.
for the time. We have got at Tasha Ransom Art on Instagram, TashaRansomArt.com,
Yes.
plus YouTube.
Yeah, Tasha Ransom Art on YouTube as well. I have a YouTube channel where I, mostly it's music. I play guitar. I used to play guitar on stage. I'm a huge music buff. And when I stopped regularly drinking whiskey, I stopped being able to play guitar on stage, and my stage fright got really bad. And so I kind of had some advice from a drummer friend that was like, also bad with stage fright, said do karaoke. And so I started doing karaoke to kind of help with that. And then that kind of diverted into just like, okay, can I be on camera alone in my home without having like that feeling of stage fright? Which the answer was absolutely not. So it took me years of filming alone in my house, that footage no one would ever see. And I was still like, oh, so locked up. Like, it's hard to like relax your diaphragm when you're like panicking, right? So my YouTube channel was definitely a way for me to overcome my stage fright and still get my music out there without having the actual pressure of playing live. I still do like play songs all the way through. I do single takes of my karaoke videos. Like, it's very important to me to not like over edit, because I want to keep my skill up of being able to play a song start to finish if I did want to play live. And I have played live a little bit, like on the street in Manitou, Colorado. I like to go there. There's lots of buskers there. And like, I am not a busker or a street performer by any means, but I definitely have sat out with my guitar and played for people because it's a place where they expect to see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, my channel, I've been working on it for about 4 years.
Nice.
And I definitely promote my art there as well. But it's very music focused. And I also cover songs from popular shows like Hell of a Boss and Has Been Hotel and things like that.
Huh.
It's very much like junk food. It's junk food.
So
and I love it.
whiskey went away, and
Whiskey went away.
Does that mean all alcohol went with it?
Yeah, I don't drink alcohol. I haven't drank alcohol regularly since like 2013.
Dang.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like have a drink on my birthday for fun. I love a good aged bourbon, but like it was never a regular thing, just for health reasons. It turns out I'm actually allergic to a lot of different types of alcohol, which explains why I struggled with it so much. Like, it would make me sick really quick, like 1 or 2 drinks, and I'm ill.
Ugh.
Yeah, and I was like in the punk scene for a long time, so I did everything I could to drink. I was a real trooper. I was like, it's okay, guys, I just gotta vomit really quick. I'll be right back. So I really struggled uphill to even drink in the first place. And when I finally gave it up, it was like a huge relief.
Okay.
So, I smoke. I take edibles. I microdose. I do other things to alter my perception.
Microdose.
And the psilocybins. Yeah. I got back into it. I have like a horrible pain disorder. It's just drop that bomb. Just a horrible, I'm just suffering over here, Blair. It's true, I'm suffering. But it definitely helps. I have nerve pain.
Is it easy to find the psilocybin stuff?
It's so crazy because I hadn't done anything like that since high school. I hadn't done mushrooms since high school. And I just like thought to myself, what if I just do mushrooms and it like fixes me? Like, what if I just don't have this pain disorder anymore because I tripped so hard that my brain forgot? But I've also heard that it helps.
A little hard drive wipe?
A little bit. I've heard it helps with migraines. And a lot of what I have going on is like, cranial. I've got issues with my jaw joint and just all through the body. Lots of joint and muscle stuff. And I know it helps. I know it helps with chronic PTSD. And like, they've had all this great study happening where there's all this proof now that it literally like helps rewire your brain. And complex PTSD is almost impossible to treat, but not if you're a mushroom. Mushroom goes in, fixes it. And so I was like, I'm going to try this. 4 days after I had this realization in my head, my best friend messaged me and she was like, hey, I know you're not normally into this sort of thing, but I have like a bunch of mushrooms my friend gave me. Do you want them? It's totally cool if you don't want them. And I was like, order fulfilled. Like, I put that order into the universe and it immediately delivered it to me. So yeah, it was easy. I put out a cosmic order. It came.
Okay.
It came within days.
So that was actual caps and stems, not a microdose.
Now I make my own microdoses because I grind them up in a coffee grinder and I use a capsule maker, and yeah, I'm all about it now.
What?
Yeah, 0.25
Milligrams?
gram,
Okay.
0.25 gram, one capsule. 4 capsules is a gram.
Okay.
3.5 grams is an eighth.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not a drug dealer, guys. I don't know these measurements. No, I'm actually really bad at math unless it comes to drugs and money, and then I'm for some reason just a numerical genius.
I forget how, but talking about the strange circumstances leading up to and coming out of my vasectomy, I was
Yeah.
given hydrocodone,
Sure.
something like
One
that.
of the greats.
And I wasn't gonna take any of the stuff until a week to the day after, and I.
You're like, I'm gonna suffer and I'm gonna save this.
Well,
I'm gonna have a
no,
good
I
time."
just was like, this. I didn't do the care that you're
Right.
supposed to do immediately after, and
Right.
it totally wrecked me. And so,
I
like,
bet.
day 4, I was walking weird. Day 5, I was wearing a jock over my underwear. Just, I couldn't literally lay in any position.
Yeah.
And I called on Friday, and she was like, tell me about your weekend last week. And I told her, and she was like, too fucking bad. Like, that's the opposite.
Hot compress, you're fine.
No. Frozen peas and no
Yeah.
movement, but there was
Oh, right.
very little frozen peas and lots of movement, just
Yeah.
household, child, whatever. So I took one and I woke up like a bear coming out of hibernation,
Time
like
travel.
14 hours.
Oh man, your
Like,
body needed it.
Didn't pee
Yeah.
that night,
Yeah.
you know, and I was like darn near healed. I mean,
Isn't that amazing?
so
Our
I
bodies
just-
heal
so I
so
sat-
much when we sleep.
So I sat on them the rest of this
Mm-hmm.
bottle, and somebody was over, and I was telling that story, and they're like, "What are you doing with those?" I was like, "They're just sitting in there," and they're like, "I'll give you however much per," and I was like, "There you go."
Yeah.
I was telling this story, and the other person in your chair goes, "You should stop telling that story while we're recording."
You read my mind. I was like, dude, don't tell people that anymore. Let this be the last time.
It was a one time. I swear.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was 7 years ago.
Yeah.
It was 7 years ago.
It was.
It was over 7 years ago.
It was over a decade ago.
There we go. So the clause
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
I
yeah.
usually know what that's called.
Statute of limitations.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all good now.
Okay. So good for you. I mean, that's incredible. That's troubling to hear about the pain disorder thing.
Yeah,
though.
I appreciate that.
Is your sleep affected?
Very much, yeah. It's been crazy. It happened when I was 24.
Okay.
And
an incident caused it, or
the
it showed
diagnosis.
up.
Yeah, yes, it manifested at 24, and I had 3 years of like insane disability where I couldn't work, and like family had to help take care of me. Yeah, it was really bad.
Whoa.
And then it took me, years to build myself back up to where I am, and I do a lot of physical stuff now to support my joints, and I'm like an involuntary health nut. Like, I don't look like the kind of person that's like, vitamins and minerals are actually very important. But, like, no, I'm like, vitamins and minerals are actually very important, and your body will start to shut down if you're not getting the right ones, I found out.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm one of those people that's on a freaking annoying health journey. I'm pretty good now, though. Sleep, so important. Definitely heals you.
Right.
And I'm lucky.
Water.
I was a cosmetologist for years. I had a salon in my house, and you were talking about, like, oh, who's in my house? Definitely experienced that. Salon's closed now because there were some people there at the end where I was like, I can't be letting these people into my house. My word of mouth got too good. And I was like, these are, like,
Did you have
strangers of strangers of strangers coming in.
all wanting to be customers, or folks like hanging out?
I had people being customers, but they were very strange people. I had some strange, like, weird boundary issues, and, like, people wanting to bring their dogs in, and I'm just like, no, this is like a state board licensed salon. You can't, like, I love your dog. The pictures are very good. Like, large dogs. It's like a salon in my sunroom.
Nuts.
So stuff like that. I found myself having to say no to weird things, and I was like, this has never happened when I've been in, like, a salon that's a business, because I
Right.
think people, even though I had all my licenses on the wall and all the, like, call if anything happens, like, people, I think, still thought I was operating illegally, and I think that gave them, like, this weird social license to behave strangely.
Wow.
Or push boundaries, right? So I kind of realized that even though I gained a lot of control being my own boss and having my own salon, when it comes to the establishment, how I operate, the level of cleanliness that I prefer to keep. I lost a lot of control when it comes to like the social dynamic, and I didn't have the protection of like the establishment around me. So
Right.
yeah, so I did it for 2 years, closed it, and then turned it into my art studio.
Cool.
And just started pursuing my art full time. So
So,
the website is definitely my art, and I actually just
okay.
started carrying prints. The shop is under construction right now. I'm doing all of it,
Whoa.
so forgive me.
You're constructing?
Yes, yeah.
Your
I
hand?
do the website myself, and yeah, I'm making the shop there right now. I actually just picked up prints today, as I mentioned.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I go to Lazarus Print Group here in Kansas City, Missouri. They're fantastic. They have like museum quality archival prints that are just choice, like just superb. I really held out for prints that I could be proud of. An artist named Bryce Holt, who is at the Joe Arts Bar. He has a gallery there, or a studio. He recommended them. That's where he gets his prints done. And he saw my business card and he was like, "You need prints. It's time." So I
So you're
actually have
building a website. You're not building like hammer and nails building a.
no brick and mortar shop.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
online shop
Okay.
only.
Gotcha.
My physical shop is like I vend at pop events like First Fridays and stuff.
Yes.
That's how Morgan Agassiz and
Yes.
I met.
Okay.
I was present at her first vending experience.
Nice.
We were like 2 doors down.
So, muscle memory plays some kind of role in me building knowledge for our conversation, right?
Yeah, totally.
So, if we make it to whatever stage of DMs, right? And it's like you're actually going to do it and
Right.
choose a date and make a list, choose a date, show up, all that stuff. Then it's like,
Answer the riddles 3.
yeah. What was the name of your first pet, Tasha?
Yeah.
So I'll
Maiden
put your
name.
name, like I'll put you on the calendar when you choose a date, right?
Yeah.
That's the first step. But as it nears, then it's like I'm putting your name and your list, and then the next step will be to actually like try to learn some things about you.
Yeah.
So for those first two, it was just Tasha Ransom art, Tasha Ransom art. So I'm thinking art, right?
Yeah.
Visual art. But when I got to that phase and on your IG, musician, painter, photographer, writer, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, I do all the stuff.
Okay. So can you tell me? I mean, we've talked a little bit musician wise, but
Right.
whatever you want to share about the 4 of those things, please.
Well, I did photography in high school. Well, actually, I did photography as a child. My dad gave me my first camera. It was a manual camera with film back in the, I'm almost 37, so I was born in 88, so we were still developing film with chemicals back then, taking
Yeah.
to Walgreens and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I was given
That notion of
Minolta.
having like some
Oh,
kind
God.
of
So
private.
exciting. So exciting.
So, and then the person developing them,
Uh-huh.
you're in your underwear
Nice
or
to have
whatever.
your own dark room for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, dude, you used to have real privacy. That doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, and so I started doing photography literally as a child, macro photography of like insects and flowers and stuff. And the stuff I took as a child was really good. I had amazing candid photographs of adults. And since I was literally like, I guess 9 or 10 when I first started taking pictures, all the pictures of adults are from here. So they're these like dynamic under chin, like right up the nose shots where it's just like, but they're good. They definitely had. I had an eye then, and so I definitely pursued it in high school.
Are they still around?
Did the darkroom? Yeah, I've got all my stuff. I have the camera too. Yeah,
Nice.
film's so expensive now. I've thought about buying film just for the fun of it, but the last the last camera shop in my town closed down, and so I wouldn't know where to go to really get that stuff developed. And I'm not about to have my own darkroom, so I resisted digital photography for years until my sister was like, "This is ridiculous. Take pictures," and bought me like my first little digital point and shoot that was pretty decent. And now I've got a Canon that I really, really like. I finally got my big girl Canon.
Nice.
And I filmed a couple videos on it, and it's so beautiful. Like, I have the same complaints about digital that a lot of film photographers had, which is just everything comes out washed out, and if you don't edit it, it doesn't look good. And it used to be something that was quite a skill to be able to point and shoot and calibrate the light just so to where you're picking up what you wanted to pick up, and then on top of it, develop it properly. Like, it was just such a labor intensive.
A darn near dead skill.
It's crazy. There's been more photographs taken since the invention of cell phones than were taken in all of since the invention of the camera.
Wow.
It's it's crazy.
Well, if you're at a thing and somebody hands you their phone and says, "Would you mind?" What do? You
right.
do like 3, 5, 7, or
I do 20. If there's women in it, I do 20. Because I know I want at least 20 to pick from. I don't, not the one and done. Do not snap one picture because I'm going to be like doing a face and then I'm gonna be like, oh. So yeah, I take like 20. I go all around.
Well, there you go.
I go all out.
That's how those stats get there.
Mm-hmm, that's right. So
also, how does that get tabulated? How does a person know that, all the phone's pictures like in a data?
like how did they figure that out? Yeah. That's a great question.
Somebody's in a lab. Tasha's taking pictures again.
Right,
3, 4, 5.
That's a really
6.
great question. Who knows? Maybe they just had so many on Facebook and online at that point that they were able to just easily say
they
like
beat
this
the
is
number and
so many.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like 1 million pictures versus.
So crazy, that notion of a dying skill.
Almost all the arts are dying. It's been something that's been I've been an advocate and very upset about it since I was very young, and that's why I boycotted digital photography for so long.
Sure.
I've been holding on with all 2 hands to the past when it comes to art, when it comes to creativity, and I'm here just in time to watch AI start exploiting
Lucky
everybody.
you.
And
yeah,
so that's been fun. I always wrote. I wrote as a kid too, and then much later in my 20s, I wrote a lot, and I have a lot of good writing from then. I almost got a job at Hallmark writing greeting cards, and I was so pretentious as like a 22-year-old that I was like, my writing is too good to be in a greeting card. I'm not going to participate in that corporate derailment of art, and so I turned down a huge opportunity. And
I like that you went British for that role.
Well, I'm just very stuck up at that point, and that sounds a little more stuck up. It was such a silly thing to turn a job down like that. Now in my 30s, as an artist that's actually trying to put themselves out there, I was like, girl, you were handed something very big. And you're like, no, I'm too good for that.
What was the stuff in the 20s that you were, what kind of things were you writing?
Poetry.
Okay.
Poetry.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I write rhyming poetry mostly. Okay. Yeah. And it's been, so many people were like, you should write songs. And I never really was able to join those 2 things together until very recently. I got to meet LP, the musical artist LP, which was huge. Yeah. Her hair touched my hair, so I'm changed.
I'm sorry, her?
LP. Yeah.
I'm thinking of part of the rap duo from Texas.
Okay, no. LP, I'm trying to remember her real name. Of course, I'm drawing a blank here. She does that song that went really, really viral, Lost on You.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
She's such a stud, dude. She's so cool. But I paid a lot of money to go backstage and like meet her for like a meet and greet thing. Yeah, and it was a big deal. And so I got to actually ask her questions, and she got to answer me, and I got to like pick her brain about like songwriting and even my stage fright and stuff. Which she was like, "Well, obviously I don't suffer from stage fright." I'm like, "Of course you don't, LP, because you're just dripping with charisma and confidence, and that's why we all love you so much."
LP and Bun B were underground kings, hip hop duo out of Texas, and I think LP is not with us anymore.
Okay.
But nevertheless, and then one of them joined with Killer Mike to become Run the Jewels. I don't know. That doesn't matter.
All right.
So your poetry,
the photography. I've always done visual art stuff, but I've always been really resistant to like calling myself an artist because it always sounded so pretentious to me.
Somebody has to be it.
I guess everybody was telling me I was, and I was like, ew, no. And so finally I broke down and was like, girl, you literally do all the stuff. Like, you do all the stuff that old artists used to do. Like, I love to act. I love voice work. I love to sing. Like, I can fucking dance. Like, do you want me to write? I can write. I can play several instruments. That's what creatives and talented types used to do for their life, like for a living, And now so much of the arts and talent has been dissected, where it's like, if you write, you have to write. And if you do music, you have to music.
Yeah.
And if you're an artist, we only want to see you doing art. We don't want to hear it from you. We don't want to hear you singing. We don't want to see you acting. And it's when actors go paint, people are like, oh, you just get to do that because you're famous now. It's like, maybe they always did it. Maybe they always wanted to. Like, let people express themselves. Right. But talented people that have that drive in them, it's going to leak out everywhere. Yeah. You can do whatever you want to try and suppress it. So I pursue all avenues.
What instruments?
I'm like, let me clear my throat for that. Sorry, guys. I started with cello.
Okay. That's a big old bastard.
Oh God, such an awesome instrument, just the best. Cello still has my heart. I played cello for like 3 years, and stopped because I ran away to the big city and just started having a whole life. Like, it was just one of those things where it's like, I don't have time for cello lessons anymore, you know? And I drug that big old thing around with me for so long. And now that I have some, like I've got the connective tissue issues and the joint stuff, those are big, gnarly strings on the cello.
Are
so
they?
it became harder for me to,
Fret?
yeah, I mean, just the action on them
Yeah,
is ridiculous.
action,
They got
yes,
these really
yes.
thick strings, and so, I already have like freaking kid hands, and so it just became almost impossible for me to even play it. And I like let it haunt me for a long time that I wasn't playing it because I never like finished learning it. And then one day in like 2009, I decided that I wasn't going to let it stop me from being musical or like learning instruments. And I met all these stupid people, like these dumb people at the coffee shop, like, hey, I'll play my guitar for you, babe. And then he would, and I'd be like, you're an idiot, and you can play that thing. I'm not an idiot. I should be able to learn how to play a guitar. They are very easy to play.
Guitars.
Reality check. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. For all the ladies out there that are wooed by somebody playing a guitar, pick one up. It really fixes that. Like, learn to play it. Anytime you get stars in your eyes for some dude in a tool belt, pick up a drill. Like, none of what anyone is doing is complicated. Anybody can learn anything. I'm all about it.
I'm gonna screw this up, but maybe not. Tosh Sultana.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I researched the piece of equipment that they use to like loop their stuff, and it's very expensive. I wanted to get one.
I saw her the first time I saw her. It was 50-50. Like, what an incredible voice.
Yeah.
How soon can I marry her?
Right.
And then the second clip, she was just fucking. I was like, what? And then the third clip, one hand in a trumpet.
That's
while
so cool.
doing
I did
something.
not know
I was like,
that
oh my.
Tosh played trumpet. That's super cool.
I'm like, at this point, what don't you play?
Anyone that can play wind instruments really impresses me. I can play I'm gonna say this wrong. Shakuhachi flute. It's like a Japanese flute. It's one of the hardest flutes to play. I have one. I learned to play it. I was like, hardest flute to play, let's go.
Nice.
So I have that. I've been playing that since I was a kid. And then the guitar, I started learning guitar in 2009. I still play it. I have a whole bunch of guitars now. Because once you start, it's like,
sure.
You collect.
How many's a whole bunch?
I just gave one away.
Okay.
I gave away a full-size Honer to somebody's son who was learning to play guitar, and he was so passionate. And he had big, long arms. And I was like, take this big old thing away, because I'm little. I like little guitars. So I have probably like 5.
Okay.
5 right now. Yeah.
Wow.
5 now that I gave away the Honer.
And the YouTube channel
You can see
does or doesn't feature
you. Can see 2 of my guitars featured on the channel. Yeah, you can see my little Traveler. I have a really nice Traveler. I'm like, air guitar. I have a Traveler that I use in the videos you'll see, and then my my old main Squeeze, which is a Luna auditorium body.
Okay.
Curly maple, purple.
Okay.
Abalone and mother of pearl with moons inlaid on the fret. She's gorgeous.
Nice.
Acoustic electric. I love that guitar. And then I've got a Squire, Fender Squire, like a baby blue with white. Oh, that's on the channel too. So you can see three of them.
Is the channel just music, or is it all
It's mostly music.
Okay.
You can see me playing instrumental guitar. You can see me singing and playing guitar. You can see me doing karaoke videos, and you can see the evolution of these sucking and getting better. I leave up my old stuff because I'm like, no, I want people to see the struggle of like not only building a YouTube channel, having your audio, your lighting, all of that dynamic stuff, present, but then also just doing an okay job. Like on top of that,
I told
it's a
this
lot.
story that I repeat myself a lot in these because it's always new to you, right? Mm-hmm. So my daughter just finished 8th grade, and there was a party. There was a ceremony at the school, and all the parents were there to whatever. And I went up to one of the dads that I hardly, they've been pre-K through 8th grade, most of them together. Just by circumstance, I've hardly had any interaction with him or his wife. And I was asking him about this thing that happened at a volleyball game. We had a brief conversation about it and laughed. And then there was a party, and everybody was at the party. And he comes up and he goes, "So I've been listening to your podcast." And I was like, "Oh,
Exposed.
okay."
Exposed.
And I go, "How do you choose which ones?" And he goes, "Well, the way that I'm wired is that I have to go back to ground zero.
He's one of those.
So I started at episode 1. I was like, "Oh my god, stop
Amazing.
talking, stop talking."
You're like, yeah, don't tell me that.
I was like, "Can you skip 40 episodes, please? I'll pay you."
Yeah, dude, I get that. Seriously, my first videos were in my attic. They're in black and white because the lighting was so bad that I had to take them down to black and white to just even begin to be acceptable. And I'm playing guitar, singing, and then I've got like a live amp, just playing out into the environment in like an arched. So there's a lot. And you have to make the audio in the room so loud because I was on a dynamic mic, like a stage mic. And so I would be like, the music would be blasting and I'm singing as loud as I can and it's still coming out like just barely acceptable volume levels on the other end. So all my original videos, they're in black and white. You're dealing with like me just in the air. Like it's not running through anything. The audio is not running through anything. And those are okay if you listen with headphones.
Sure.
And because it was in my attic and I live in a creaky old Victorian, I used to film up there, wooden floors, very old, and there's like this creaky spot where I didn't put a rug yet. And there's a couple videos where I like have left comments under them like I would kill to go back in time and put a rug under my feet. So stuff like that. But later on, I do karaoke, some karaoke stuff, and then I do like I call them vocal covers now because I use like the original audio track, and some of these songs have like 5 people singing in them. And so I'll go and I'll do all the voices and stuff. Like the ones that I'm doing for Hell of a Boston Has Been Hotel, there will be like multiple people with different voices and stuff. And I go and I do all of them.
You're way deeper in the
Dude, I'm psychotic. I got so into it. Like once I got the actual audio editing equipment and like started to understand like audio engineering, the neurodivergent part of my brain was like, yes, my sweet. This is all you do now. So I just hyper focused on it for a very long time.
Where does one find the audio that you're singing over?
Okay, so there's lots of creators on YouTube that will specifically strip audio from these shows because it's just a huge fandom, and then they'll make that stuff like fair use and karaoke videos where they'll have the audio for anybody to use, and lots of vocal artists on YouTube will go through and use those audios, like download them, sing over them, produce their own
Interesting.
content. Mm-hmm.
So, whatever. I don't know if I'll ever make any changes to this because it just getting through the editing piece is the biggest grind.
Yeah.
But so there's this piece of it, right? And I go through and I'm cutting manually from camera to camera.
Right.
Okay. So that's
right.
That's a big piece, and you got to sync the audio. Mm-hmm. Initially.
I'm just now became familiar with stuff like that.
So there's that. That's the body of an episode. But I have a little promo that my daughter filmed a couple years ago. And then I plug in intro, audio, promo, outro, and then there's audio that goes with the promo that she did, and then there's another final audio piece to wrap, right?
Nice.
And immediately, I throw it on YouTube, copyright.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
But
I have a lot of videos like that.
I thought at first that if I kept it to 10 seconds, that would be fine. It's not. So I tried just under 9, and I got a little breathing room.
Really?
And I thought, oh, there we go. But it depends on the artist.
Mm-hmm.
I've discovered
absolutely.
Some artists I can put like a 17-second clip, and
right.
I've gotten 0 strikes. It's just that
you just can't monetize it. Yeah,
and I've gotten a few where it's like this is partially blocked in certain countries. I'm like, oh no.
Well, Italy doesn't get to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've definitely experienced that.
So it's a crapshoot because I am picking the audio that I'm picking is either a screenshot of something that I was listening to a week or so ago,
nice.
or it's a song that's been on the brain.
Right.
Or maybe we talk about something, and I was like, that would work there.
Clip it.
But it's until it's uploaded and processed. Come on in, honey.
Poor baby.
So, oh my gosh. Okay, so audio and YouTube and your 5 vocal parts over songs.
Dude, okay, like one of my favorite videos, seriously, I'm gonna freaking plug it. There's like one of the original voice actors for the pilot in Has Been Hotel did a song called Insane, and it was like a tribute song to Alistair, and I covered it. And it is one of my all-time favorite covers that I've done because there are so many vocal bits in it and there's all kinds of little like ad libs that just fit into the music just so perfectly. And for the chorus, I did like just a demonic laugh over and over again, like as the chorus beat. It was my favorite. So if anybody does want to watch something of mine, start there.
Okay. Okay.
It's a good place to go. Yeah.
Do you know who Medeski Martin Wood is?
No.
Okay, jazz trio out of New York. Kind of came on the scene with the jam band.
Okay.
Horde Fest. You're not old enough to remember. Horizons of Rock developing everywhere.
Okay.
And it was like Blues Traveler and Widespread Panic and Fish.
Those
and,
are names I'm familiar with.
And there was a festival that for a couple years that and Medeski Martin Wood was part of the mix. But they're all instrumental jazz trio, bass, keys, and drums. And they made a bunch of records, and then they've kind of been they've been doing their own other stuff, other projects. They have a new one coming out this year, but in '98 they put out one called Combustication, and DJ Logic is on it doing scratches.
Cool.
And there's a track on it called Whatever Happened to Gus. And it is
God, that sounds oddly familiar.
really, and bass is upright.
I love upright
Chris
bass.
Wood, he plays upright. Anyway, the track is really just upright bass, maybe some quiet drums in the back, and this old guy telling this story. Whatever happened to Gus? He came back by way of Kansas City, hanging out with Charlie Brown. It's this 5.5 minute story
Hell yeah.
that is like real.
I love Tom Waits, so I'd be all over
Kansas City centric and
Neat.
jazz history. It's Gus
cool.
Gus got the key. It's so cool.
That's awesome.
And I want to do a TikTok video and like either me or the help of my two kids and I play each of the parts in
Cute.
the conversation
Yeah.
with costume, so
Right.
but like I can get the idea of pieces down, but then when it's time to go, I don't know how the fuck to do that.
Yeah.
So I got to figure it out. I might have to pick your brain for
do
some
it, dude,
help.
do it. I'm always like, seriously, one of my favorite things to do, especially in the comments under my videos, because lots of us inspire each other. And I've had so many people in comments be like, you really make me want to do this. And I'm like, do it. And I'm like, here's what you need to start. Like you can start with so little. And I've watched a couple people actually go and start their own channels because
Cool.
of it. And I'm just like, yes, more. Like, seriously, it's really nice to have that kind of
I was
little
DMing
community.
on Facebook with a dude that I didn't go to high school with, but he was kind of always around. He's in California now, and for whatever reason, we were messaging one day, and I was like, I think I'm going to do it. He's like, just go.
Yeah,
And I was
yeah.
like, no. And he's like, dude, just start with 2 cell phones. And
Yeah.
and I was like,
there's people with very successful channels that still only use their phone.
I know, but I was
I know.
like,
I'm the same way.
can't.
I'm the same
I
way.
can't.
I'm the same way. I
'Cause
got the fancy camera.
It's
Yeah.
already going to be horrible to watch myself and listen to myself
you wanna-
when I edit. If it's also shitty quality,
Yeah.
I'm going to be upset. I don't want to be upset about this.
Yeah, I get that. This can be such a
passion project.
frustrating process.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, absolutely. I've had many rage quits. Yeah. in learning this. Yeah, for
So
sure.
you mentioned performing live and whiskey goes away, and then I think we were rolling already. Stage fright, and
Yep.
and relayed that to the YouTube channel content. Remind me, if you already told me, where are you with that right now in terms of when I'm gonna do this video and you hit record? Are you
Okay, so I started recording and actually doing the channel 4 years ago.
okay?
And I stopped drinking in like 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And I started filming myself like in 2013. Like, it was pretty quick. And because I wanted to deal with the stage fright. I mean, this was something I used to do for recreation. I would go play guitar down at the jazz club, the Phoenix Jazz Club here downtown Kansas City.
Yeah.
And they had Monday night charity band where they'd put like a charity up every month, and a bunch of musicians would come and play. And we're talking like professional jazz musicians, dudes that have been doing this stuff for 40 years. And I'm like, hi guys, I have an acoustic and I just learned how to play guitar. Can I get up and sing? And they were so great. The MC was so great, and she would always let me get up, and they were all so supportive. And when you're first starting to play an instrument like that, it's like when you first start something, you think you know so much because you just learn a little bit of it. And you know when you get good at something when you realize you don't know anything about it. And that's kind of what happened to me with guitar. I got to a certain point of proficiency where I was just like, I'm not that good. You know what I mean? I was so much braver when I was starting out because I was like, guys, I'm a newbie, so they would be very forgiving, right? And I remember the first time I had like sympathy applause. That is hard. That is hard.
Oh.
It is a high that you chase when you're doing stage performance because I would have nights where it was so good and I would get like real like full plumb and like people come up to me afterwards and be like, "How do you know that song, little lady?" And I'm like, "I'm just a cool little kid."
Well.
Yeah, actually. And so I loved it. And then I'd have nights where I bombed and often it was stage fright related, you know, because I'd have to get the right amount of drunk enough to do it, be confident, open my diaphragm, but not so drunk that I hit my teeth on the microphone again, because that was the worst thing. King! You know, I'm just like, oh, God, no. But yeah, I used to get up and tell a bad joke, like a not funny joke, and then I'd be like, aren't you relieved I'm not doing stand-up? There we go, just a girl with a guitar.
Have you seen the dude that's a knight on the subway in New York?
No.
With a full-on podium and a mic, just telling
That's awesome.
the awfulest of dad jokes.
Good for him. Good for him. I love a good pun.
There's somebody that's... And most people are like, some people are like, God damn. And every once in a while, I see somebody like,
I love a good groaner, dude. For real. Well, in Towns Van Zandt, that's a method I learned from Towns because he would tell a joke on stage on his live sets, like before he'd play, and sometimes in between, you know. And they were always bad. They were never good. Some of them weren't even funny. And but he was one of the most talented lyricists and guitarists of all time.
yeah.
But yeah, terrible joke teller. There's a live video of him playing Poncho and Lefty for a small audience, clearly in somebody's house. It is just like a beautiful piece of history. And before he launches into the instrumental, he says, "Pick it, and it'll never heal." And like the girl in the background's like, ha 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 ha. It's like, that's who that was for,
Nice,
you know?
Nice.
So I like to bring levity to like everything I do because you can't take yourself too seriously.
Right.
And that definitely helps, especially when it comes to any kind of nerves or any creative endeavor, like public speaking, like just laugh together.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
It really helps bring the tension down.
So I have a couple of quotes from TashaRansomArt.com.
No, you're quoting me. This is...
Well, but they're brief, and there's a question associated with each.
Let's hear it.
And
I wrote everything on there.
And there's only two of them. So,
okay.
All right. Let me read the quotes first, and I'll ask you the quotes. So, I strive to create things that make the viewer question what they see. That's one. And two, I seek to capture that feeling of wonder experienced when you meet eyes with the natural world. So, that first one, make the viewer question what they see because...
I am a big fan of optical illusions. I was a big Escher fan as a kid. And so anybody that can make something with their hands that is like making your eye and your brain glitch out, that's an amazing power to have over another brain. Like I can draw something, leave it there, another person can look at it and their brain will be like, hold on. And like that's just, it's like a prank you leave, but you don't watch the outcome.
That's a great voice.
You know, I got all kinds of voices. Yeah, there's so many of us in here. Call me Legion. But so yeah, I do a lot of six-eyed hairs, and I do like the the three-eye symbol a lot, and you know that's like my logo with the three eyes on the cap, and I do a lot of six-eyed wild jackrabbits, and if you do it just right, it messes with your eyes when you look at it because your brain, like, I really aim for enough realism that your brain is like, yeah, that should have six eyes, but you have trouble focusing on it. And it literally, I've had a customer come up that my painting gave her chills from across the street. And she had to come up and tell me, she's like, I saw that and it literally made all the hairs on my body stand up. And I was like, it was a huge compliment. I was like, I have so much power. Like, I was like, all the power. Like, it's amazing. Because, you know, to be able to have that effect on another person's, like, it's like ASMR for the eyes, right?
Yeah.
And it also, especially the eyeball art, like the multiple eye art, it really sets off something in our head, like how cobras have the false eyes on their backs. Like, that animal instinct in us is like, too many eyes. and just wants to get away from it. And so it really does give like an off-putting and eerie feeling. And lots of people that walk by my booth at First Fridays or anywhere where I'm doing like my pop-up events where all my rabbits are displayed at once, like I love hearing people say, oh, or like, oh, wow. Or like, oh, that is creepy. I'm like, yes, good.
Tell me more.
Yeah, tell me more. I get great feedback at the live events. And so, yeah, when I said that, I mainly speak about like making something real enough that your brain accepts it, but strange enough that it doesn't want to.
Right. Right.
Like triggering the uncanny valley a little bit.
Mallrats.
Love all the Kevin Smiths.
Okay.
Big
So
fan. Back when it was all.
what did they call those? Magic Eye.
Yes.
Set a sailboat. Fuck you.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. Yeah, no, I love the
I could
Magic
never
Eyes.
do those.
Took me years. Like all of childhood, I couldn't do it. And I remember maybe it was smoking weed that really opened up that third eye of mine, but like, or just let me unfocus my eyes enough. But I remember it wasn't until I was like teenager, high enough to really dedicate. And somebody was like, you got to put it really close to your face and then pull away. Yes, and so if you put it right here and they're just like, don't focus your eyes. So I had somebody there like coaching me through it. And I'm like, I can do this, Cindy. And I did it until I could. And it was dolphins. I'll never forget the first time a magic eye showed itself to me. I literally thought everyone was lying. I was like, I bet the joke is that, they're all lying together.
We're all in on it.
There's nothing in the picture.
Tasha.
So yeah, I love a good optical illusion. Anything that tricks the brain or, strains the eye a little.
So on the feeling of wonder, what is it about the natural world that lends us that feeling of one? I mean, because it's not all the time. Like, and the dose varies, right? Sometimes you can be like, God, it's a beautiful day. I'm so happy that I live in the Midwest and we get these.
We have a lot of beauty here.
We do.
People don't realize how beautiful
the
prairie is.
Then there's like literally stunning, captivating.
Yeah.
And oftentimes that's visual, but there's also like you can be somewhere where it's I'm sorry, it's a vibe. It's not like there's something beautiful that you're looking at. There's not necessarily a great smell.
You can feel it.
There's not that like and it's just like, God, I don't want to leave. I want to like
experience that moment.
This is my home now.
Yeah, I live here now. That's when you're in your element, man.
What is that? I mean,
I think that when you think about like. The earth has magnetic poles on it. We've got that magnetic energy in us as well. When we put our feet down physically without anything between it on the earth, it grounds us electrically. Like you're literally grounding yourself against the earth, and it changes your heart rate. It changes how you breathe. Like you literally will cure yourself of so much just by going outside and like letting the sun hit your eyes. Like seriously, I had to buy one of those like sad lamps for winter people. I was born in Florida, and so I was made in the sun. I'm like designed to be in the Scottish moors, born in the tropics, and then moved to the prairie. Like it's been rough for me.
You're about
yeah, no, really. It's like, what do you want from me? So I didn't handle winter
between
very well.
Channel 40 and 41, just right.
Yeah. There's a little too
Yeah.
I remember the first day I accepted that I had seasonal depression because I was driving to Kansas City, and it was so cloudy out, and I was like, nothing is good. Everything's bad. And then literally the sun came out and I was like, it's a beautiful day and it's worth living. And I was like, girl, you just did a 180. That was hard. And I noticed it and I was like, okay, I'm starting to believe the people that are telling you that sunlight actually does make you happy. I think I might need more of it. So I did the lamp and stuff, and in the winter I use it and it gives me like coffee energy. It's crazy.
Really?
It's crazy. I'm such a skeptic. The first time I used it, I was like, sit 45 inches from light. Don't do it for more than an hour. And I was like, we're going to ignore this. 10 minutes, 3 hours. Yeah. And I was up till dawn like I'd done actual speed. And I was like, okay, there's something to this. So, I think when humans embrace the part of us that is nature, which is every part of us, we start to kind of tune into that balance a little bit, and it cures something in us that has been straying from the natural path. Like, technology has hindered us in a lot of ways. Social media has pulled us apart from each other, and I think that when you're out in nature, and especially if you're out in nature with other people, you start to feel right again. And I think that we're all yearning for it, especially now.
Two things. in case I forget, the electrician and Andrew Huberman. So the electrician, I called this electrician company, and I was like, I got a list of shit, and they're like, all right, we'll walk around. And some of the things were like, these aren't grounded. And I knew that because when the inspection was done to buy this, they put blue tape. And so I was like, I feel like if you're here to do stuff, we might as well.
Right.
So whatever. He did that. And I was like, this is my whole, I was like, I don't get it. Mm-hmm. Like, I know that grounding in the electrician world is important, but I don't. And he's like,
to
like
earth.
The poles,
right.
like the phone poles, they're grounded. I'm like, you're just telling me.
You're just saying words to me, Joe. I don't, explain it.
And he goes, but I mean, like, there's a wire that goes into the ground. And I was like,
and you're like, I'm not getting the core concept,
and that
bro.
does what? And he was like,
grounds it.
Like how if you walk around barefoot, you're grounded.
Right.
And the level of grounded you are depends on how sweaty your feet are. And I was like, you made it.
I know about that part.
You made it worse.
Thanks, Electrician Joe.
But at that point, I was like, oh, okay.
Sure, thanks.
And just
I'll Google it.
Sent him. I don't.
Dude, to me, it's like one of those things where I know why airplanes stay in the air, but I refuse to accept it. Like, I get the grounding thing, not enough to explain it to you in a way that you'd understand, because I also don't fully understand it. I just accept it. I'm just like, okay, magic, bro. Cool.
And Andrew Huberman has a podcast. He's like a fucking scientific wizard at Stanford and just really good conversationalist. I've only watched him as a guest on a different podcast.
Cool.
But he talked about if you are off and you can manage to get in the habit of getting 15 minutes
of sunlight,
first day's
in the
light
eye right away. Yeah,
it will
reset your circadian rhythm.
Yes,
all of the above.
Yes, which is just bonkers.
Dude, we're all suffering so much.
I know.
Like, we really are.
I'm like, it's 4. I should probably lay down for 90 minutes.
Dude, there's so much where we just really need to get back to the basics when it comes to how humans should and used to live for so long. Like, I'm not saying we should get rid of antibiotics. I'm not crazy.
Right.
I just think we need to get a little sunlight and run around a little bit, and maybe socialize in person, like, here and there. Like, things
Have you
like that. Like
come across the charismatic voice on YouTube?
Oh, dude, no. That sounds like something I like, though.
She's I think she's a trained opera singer,
cool.
But she does reaction videos to
Love
bands.
Uh-huh.
And she's really like sharp, and like her sense of humor is cute. I like her, but 4.5 minute song is a 27-minute video because she goes back so much, which is great.
Yeah.
But I'm only gonna like check in if I like the tune or the artist. So, do you know Rush?
Yeah.
The band? Okay.
Yeah.
So the first time she did Tom Sawyer. And if you know Geddy Lee's range, he can
like monumental.
Like I thought that was a female vocalist when I was a kid. Anyway, the video for Tom Sawyer, because he's Geddy Lee, he's playing bass, playing synth and lead vocals.
God. Leave some for the rest of us, dude.
Well, there's only 2 of them. There's only 2 others.
He's taking all the talent. Babies are being born talentless because of this man.
So immediately she goes, "Oh, I really love the way," and there's a term for it. I love the way that he closes his lips on the close of the consonant. And I was like, "Huh?" And then when he does get up there, she's like, "Oh, he's using everything correctly, and he's standing instead of being seated, which does X more,
right?"
And to take it up another notch, if you're barefoot, it's even more. And I was
really?
Like,
what? Because it probably changes how all of your muscles are when you're standing. Okay, well, I'm gonna keep that in mind when I record in my studio. I'm gonna take my shoes off. I need to watch her. I like a lot of vocal coaches and stuff. That sounds right up my alley. Like, I've had to watch instructional videos on how to, like, lower and raise your register and stuff. It's fascinating. It's just another muscle.
Okay, so
should we talk about music?
Can you recall how you just said that? Created in the sun, something about the Scottish moors.
Created to be in the Scottish moors. Forced to live in the tropics and then drugged to the prairie.
Yeah,
something along those lines.
So you're born in Florida,
Key West.
Okay,
on an island, the island of Key West.
But then raised here.
Yeah, they moved me here when I was like about 4. Almost 4.
They moved you by yourself?
Yeah, they just shipped me off. No, I did used to fly as a child though, back to Florida. Like I was on a plane alone at like 10 years old. Crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But no, they all moved up here. My mom's family's from here.
Okay. So, do you have siblings?
I have one half sister
Half
that I was
sister.
raised with.
Okay.
We were raised like not half sisters, but we have different dads.
Okay. So any idea how your folks connected initially?
I actually know the exact story. My mother was working in Flint, Michigan, outside of her mother's shop. I'm sorry. My mother was working outside of my grandmother's shop in Northport, Michigan, and my dad at the time was living in Flint. And he was born in North Carolina.
Okay.
And he helped build the Alaska Pipeline. He moved up to Detroit to sell T-shirts during all the car shows. My dad did all kinds of stuff before he became a goldsmith and traveled all around the world doing that, like an artist for sure. That's where I get a lot of this stuff. The insatiable drive to create. But so he stumbled, my mom loves this story, and we joke about it all the time, because he just stumbled upon her on the sidewalk outside of my grandmother's shop, which was called the Land of Oz, AHS, which is like a saying for Kansas.
Yeah.
And my mom says, there I was, beautiful.
Oh, boy.
You know? And we come from very beautiful people, and my father was very handsome, so they were just doomed from the start. And he sweet-talked her and romanced her, and she ran away with him for a little while.
Okay, okay.
And she had my sister already at that point.
Okay.
Yeah, and my sister was a little girl, like probably a little under that, like 5. I think she was pretty little, actually, probably like 3, like a toddler.
Okay. Now, in the home or homes you're being raised in, is
single mother home.
Okay. Is mom putting on music to listen to?
That was something I did want to address. I grew up in a house where there was no music.
Intentionally?
No,
or coincidentally?
Just coincidentally.
Okay.
She listened to Oppenheimer, or what is it? Not Oppenheimer. The freaking steamroller music, the Christmas
Mannheim
music. Thank you.
Okay.
That was what was played in the home.
Okay.
Once a year on Christmas, she'd put that CD on, and that's all we got. Yeah, and then the radio would be on in the car, you know.
Okay.
So I'd hear top 40 stuff. I remember being in 3rd grade and like being like, oh my God, the Spice Girls, you know. So I discovered music wholly on my own until a little later. My dad stoked that flame a little bit because he was really into the blues, and I didn't actually find out that he listened to Tom Waits until later. He's dead now.
Your dad?
Yeah.
Okay.
But my mom told me, because I was talking about covering Tom Waits songs and wanting to do female Tom Waits covers, which finally some gals did, and they did an amazing job, and I was like, good, somebody needed to. Like, but she was like, your dad loved Tom Waits, and I was like, really? So he showed me a lot of stuff. He played guitar too.
I did a Tom Waits discography episode.
Dude, I gotta watch it. I love Tom Waits.
There's 17 records, so it's tough to get listening to 2 people talk about how awesome.
We love it.
But there are like 3, 4, 5 records in that catalog that are just
he's a freaking genius.
And funny.
Oh yeah,
and
so
like
good. So
has
good.
folks feature like Keith Richards and Mark Ribot. I mean,
Tom Waits never gets old.
No,
never gets old. And so I grew up in a house, single mom, worked 2 jobs, did a lot of raising myself. Basic cable also helped raise me a lot. Really set the temperature for like what I think is funny and all of that stuff. You can tell exactly when I grew up because other kids raised by television at that same time.
Yeah.
Like we sound the same, we act the same, and I'm like, I know how old you are. And so the first exposure for me, that really changed my life when it comes to being somebody that's like obsessed with music was the infomercial for the Beatles one compilation album.
Oh, okay.
It was an infomercial, and it was like, I literally can hear the music in my head where they're like playing the little snippets of the song back to back to back to back.
With the credits rolling,
with great features like Penny Lane, and then Eleanor Rigby, just like back to back rapid fire. And I remember being a kid. God, I was 12 because it was the year 2000. And
did you ever see Conan do that skit?
Which one? I love Conan.
In the year 2000?
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, grew up watching Conan.
2000!
And then after the 2000 happened, they kept doing it. So good.
There was one with David Duchovny where he's like...
I've seen that one.
He's like, it will be discovered that becoming a sex addict or something is known as Duchovny or something like that. And then the next one is like, David Duchovny also has a raging case of Duchovny.
Dude... Conan's just a total freaking icon to me. I love that man.
Yes.
I always said when everything was going on, I was like, Conan's the only like famous person I would feel safe around. And then they did a poll recently, and they
Bro.
were like, "What famous man would you feel safe around?" And everybody picked Conan. I was like, "I told you, this guy's a safe person." Like I love Conan.
I gotta tell this story because it made me laugh for like a week. I'm not even kidding.
Share it.
I'm not even kidding. So Conan is on this podcast with Ted Danson and Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're interviewing him.
Team Coco.
And they're rapping, and Ted Danson says, "Man, you've done so many hours of interviewing. Any pointers for when it really is just awful? Because this has been just dog shit."
I think I've seen that one.
And so
I love it.
And so Conan goes, it turns out that I did 4,000 hours of interviews, and oftentimes it was guest musician guest,
Right.
but sometimes it was guest with no musician, and every once in a while that second guest would be like I forget the terminology, but like a seventh role in a series that
Oh God, an extra of an extra of an extra.
that lasted for 3. It's not even on the air anymore.
Oh God.
And so one night, there were nights like that, and one night we had you can immediately just making things up to protect people. And he goes, one night we had Saz Bickler from You Better Not on the WB, and he's 19, so he has no life experience, and he comes out, and we're like, how's it going? He's like, good. And he's like, says here you used to work at Chipotle. And he's like, yeah. And so they get through the bit, and the producer's like, dude, that was great. You were nervous. He's like, he didn't say anything. We did all the talking.
Yeah, you do a great Conan.
And so this clip is one of these posts that's got like 7 slides to it.
Yeah.
And no. So somebody creates a Saz Bickler Instagram handle and comments to Team Coco, real cool, Conan.
Oh man.
And then you go, and they've made like all these posts that jive with that
is
little
so funny.
So there's like they took a picture of the Conan set, and then there's a picture at Chipotle, and it's like this is from the night of the employee. I mean, just levels.
That's awesome.
And so I jump in and said something like something about the fountain drinks at Chipotle, and Saz Bickler's like, still can't drink Dr. Pepper to this day.
Oh my God.
Like replying to my replies.
That's
about this
amazing. I love that kind of interaction.
Oh,
and
it's so great because it's like so pure and authentically funny.
His audience is superb.
Absolutely.
I watch Conan every day.
Really?
Every day.
Nice.
Well, at the end of the year, they give you the little thing that shows you what you spent all your time that year watching. Conan was the top podcast. I watched an embarrassing amount of hours. I listen to that all the time. Always listening to Conan, dude.
So, any concerts as a young person?
I saw Paul McCartney at his last live concert.
Wow.
Yeah. I saw Paul McCartney's last show ever. The Driving USA tour in Key West, Florida.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the summer before I turned 13.
Wow.
And the audience was so big that I got to experience my first, like, I didn't know what it was, but it's like a crowd, like when the crowd is too big, you get kind of a panic attack. You feel like you're going to pass out. And so I had to like go out into the like lobby area and just like sit against a wall and be like, I don't know why I feel this way. I think it's like the 8,000 souls in that room bearing down on me. A little too empathic, but I felt it was amazing. I cried. I did the whole like Beatles cry thing where I was just like, I can't believe and it was like, he'd already been knighted. He'd already married that Heather Mills girl that looked identical to Linda McCartney. Everyone was uncomfortable. And then she claimed to never have ever heard of the Beatles. Grew up in England. Crazy. It's
What?
okay. It's okay. Yeah, Paul, you had a broken heart. We understand. But he played on stage acoustic, just him, something. Because it hadn't been long. George Harrison had died. It hadn't been long when he was doing that tour. And it was amazing to hear him play. It's one of my favorite Beatles songs. It's George Harrison's song.
Yeah.
He wrote it for his wife on ukulele. And it was meant to be played on a ukulele. And when I learned it was meant to be played on the ukulele as somebody that has struggled to play it on guitar, I was like, duh. And I got the ukulele. I was like,
goodness.
Something in the way. I was like, I can do it now. But yeah, I was moving. My first concert ever. Moving.
Cool.
I'm so lucky. I'm so freaking lucky.
It's wild to me, and I wanted to clarify because I was sort of twitching out a little bit. More or less across 160 plus episodes, hardly any Beatles records have made lists.
Crazy to me.
So
I saw
crazy.
one of your recent ones had
So
a Beatles record
all of
on
a
it.
sudden, in the last handful of weeks, it's like
Really?
Abbey Road, Abbey Road.
Hey, that ripple effect.
And I was like, there's no.
I started it.
There's no.
I
fucking
started
way.
it. I said it first, guys.
So
I'm just kidding.
the first one of those episodes goes up. That's got Abbey Road on it, and
Such a good album.
and then I see it like the next day. I see a Nate Bargatze, stand-up comic.
Okay.
He does a podcast with Dusty Slay, who's also a stand-up comic.
That sounds familiar.
They're both so hilarious.
Okay, I love stand-up, so
Nate
I'll have to check
is
them out.
Nate is really blown up of late, like really
There's a
blown up.
chance I've seen clips of them in passing because I'm
He's-
just pounding
He's
stand-up all the time.
he's clean.
Okay, hard to do.
Yeah, Dusty is also clean.
Hard to do.
But Dusty is he wears a trucker hat. He just sets it on the top of his
I love it.
big glasses
Hell yeah.
and really long hair.
Oh man.
And he waves
I went to high school with a guy that's exactly like that and named Dusty.
and says
Why is it him?
we're having a good time.
Oh god. Oh god.
So I get this clip. I put that episode up. I get this clip, and it's 30, 60 seconds, and they're just talking about, which I kind of knew about way back when, but I forgot about it because it was preposterous. This notion that Paul McCartney died,
Yeah, it's a whole conspiracy theory.
and there's a list of,
All kinds of stuff around it. Yeah.
and I was like, what?
Yeah, dude, people before the internet were still doing all the stuff we're doing. It's so funny. Like, we really were. There's little tidbits in the songs where you're supposed to be able to hear Paul is dead, like whispered.
Oh my God.
All kinds of stuff, dude. And then on the cover of Revolver, there's supposed to be little clues like drawn into the picture
Well,
of Revolver.
Abbey Road, his stride is off.
That, and then him being barefoot, and then they've likened John Lennon to like an angel, and George Harrison to a priest, and then the guy that died is Paul, and blah 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 blah. And so there's all kinds of fun little conspiracy theories about it.
So back to young you listening to music, however, cable TV, car.
Yeah.
Is that Beatles one record kind of your first
It is the absolute
album?
launching pad, yeah.
Okay.
Because I was like a child. I was like, Mom, drive me to Walgreens because the television said I can get this at Walgreens. You got the track list. I have the original CD. I should have brought it.
Nice.
I have the cover and everything. It is literally, I remember pulling it off the shelf at Walgreens.
So as you mentioned, out in
perfect.
2000, released on the 30th anniversary of the band's breakup.
I didn't realize
I
that.
just learned.
Fascinating. Oh, they know what they're doing with that stuff.
First compilation of theirs available only on CD. Sold more than 31 million copies.
I was one of those. It changed my life.
And all of them were number one singles in the UK or the US between 62 and 70. And the infomercial is what turned you on to it?
Yeah. No, it was one of those things where the TV was always on. So in the morning, you hear that commercial come on. You go to school and you're like, Eleanor Rigby, Penny Lane, have been hard days now. And then I was like, I have to know.
Tasha girl's a little...
She's crazy. I had to know. I mean, that's true. I had to know the rest of the songs. Everything on it sounded so good. And I am such an audiophile. Even then, I love sounds, noises, voices, like instruments, tonalities. And the Beatles were known for their harmonies and the dynamic sound and like the changes in their songs, like David Bowie later emulated. Like they had more changes in a single song than most people had in their entire album. And
And
really
they're doing
did...
shit in like 2-minute, 13...
Oh, yeah.
Short tracks.
So good. Their early stuff is good. Their mid stuff is good. Their later stuff is good. To show me a Beatles song that's bad, and I'll tell you, it was written by Ringo Starr.
Oh,
no, I'm
poor
just kidding.
Ringo.
I'm just kidding. Poor Ringo. What a sweetheart. Poor guy. Yeah,
But
he wasn't
not-
the best writer, though. There's a few Beatles songs that I don't like, and anytime one comes on, like the Little Piggy song,
Sure.
it's on the White Album.
Yeah.
Who allowed that? That thing is good
I don't
almost
dislike
entirely through. The Little Piggy song.
I don't dislike it.
Really?
It doesn't do anything for me, but
Yeah.
I don't like... Fuck
It's
you.
like got like that little kid guitar, the little kid piano sound in it.
Yes, that's
again,
true.
it's just the tonalities. I'm sensitive to certain noises, and that one gets me. But you know, there's all kinds of Beatles songs that are just fun, just fluff, just nice rhymes and harmonies, and there's like the real moving stuff, and you know, they go all across the board.
So, if we go back to episode 7, the White Album,
Yeah.
and then if we go to
I almost
episode
picked the White Album.
8, Sgt. Pepper's,
Oh, so good.
and then for like 100, who knows how many episodes, like no, just
Crazy.
no. But
I was obsessed as a kid, and we would take long road trips, like 22-hour road trips and stuff, Texas to Michigan, crazy stuff. And I would take my little cheapy Walkman, and I would listen to Beatles songs with a notebook, and I would write down all the lyrics. And for a lot, for anybody that doesn't know how to diagnose little girls with autism, ask what their hobbies are, because like this would have been a clear one back then. It's like, okay, so you've memorized all the Beatles songs. There's like more than there are bones in the body. Are you okay? But I couldn't do simple math. I'm like, but if you want all the lyrics to any Beatles song on demand, I've got that for you. Like I could only learn that stuff that I was interested in. And so I really did become completely obsessed, and it did start with this album. And once I figured out, okay, so I became obsessed with this album, I flew down to Florida to visit my dad, and because he was still living down in Key Largo. And he took me to Walmart and bought me 4 Beatles albums. He bought me Rubber Soul. He bought me Abbey Road. He bought me Revolver and Sgt. Pepper. And it was like, that is all I did the summer. All the summer. Like, I just...
Great 4-pack.
Oh, dude. No, my dad knew what he was doing. He was like, oh, God, yeah, the great place to start. Here's where it actually started. You know what I mean? And, that stuff carried me for years. I was the only punk that I knew for a long time that liked the Beatles, and I used to catch so much flack for it.
Oh.
Yeah, but for some reason there was like an anti-Beatles movement in the punk stuff, but I'm just like, you guys don't understand how punk rock the Beatles were okay. Like seriously, they're total like deviants from the norm in their time, right?
So so this was what it was for you, right? Like
just kicked it off.
So you have that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think when we were messaging, I was telling you I dubbed Beatles 62 to 66 and 67 to 70, both double cassettes.
So good.
From my buddy, and just I mean that was the beginning of my tape collection, and I just over and over and over again, and it was years later before somebody was like, by the way,
albums, right?
And I was like, what?
So I had a little column A, a little column B, because it started with this comp. And then I eventually collected every Beatles album, like all available, even the the years comps later, like the early ones. But it was also at the time where like Kazaa was around, and I was a child on the internet, so I was just like, all Beatles albums, download. And so I had everything, and some of it was out of context, some of it was bootlegged, some of it was like weird old like. One of
your that voice you just did is, and you've done it a few times, is very Eliza Schlesinger. Do you know who this is?
Is this a comedian?
Yeah.
I'm probably ripping off Jordan Jensen, and she's probably ripping off Jordan Jensen too. What are we doing?
Jordan is so... I love her, but God, she's cringe.
Is she? You think she's cringe, Jordan Jensen?
No, I mean, like, her with Ian.
Ian's so cringe. Ian reminds me of one of my ex-boyfriends, big time.
The two of them together on the B and Ian podcast, which I only consume.
When are they going to have their lavender marriage? That's what I want to know.
What is lavender?
It's when, like, a lesbian marries a gay guy.
Okay. But he plays for both teams.
Yeah.
And I think...
He identifies as bi. She identifies as straight.
Yeah.
She was raised by lesbians, which is why she is the way she is.
Right.
And she's one of those people that everyone's like, no, you are a lesbian. She's like, I'm a type of woman.
She's like, I like cock. What are you talking about?
I know.
But just so again, it's just Instagram content that I get all the, and she does.
Her stand-up is good.
The clips, it is.
Her solo podcast is great too.
But
she has her own pod.
The clips that she puts up are almost always crowd work, and she's usually
she's so good with her
she's usually trashing somebody. I'm like, oh
yeah. She really has no filter.
But
she opened for Louis C.K. when he was canceled. That's where she came from.
You did. I got Louis vibe from you a little bit ago
Louis.
too.
I love Louis for so long. I don't not love him now. This is my thing, dude. I've been a feminist for a long time, and I've followed a lot of terrible artists for a long time. Like, don't even get me started on, like, freaking Salvador Dali. Like, there's all kinds of people where I'm just like, you're a jerk.
Yeah.
I love your melting clocks, you jerk.
Yeah.
Like, I know people are like, separate the artist from the art. I know sometimes you can't do that. But to me, when Louis came out as being a little pervert, I was like, he literally told everyone from day one that he was a little pervert, and you guys are shocked that he is.
Well, there was an opportunity for folks to like rally and make a thing about it, and then the next day he owned it.
Right.
In a big... Anyway, I do love Jordan. I love Louis.
Yeah.
Eliza...
I should no.
It's very,
I never
very,
heard of this person.
very, very. She's
I don't like shock stuff. I don't want shock
she's
stuff.
super hot, and the first person to tell you, and
Okay.
the outfits, I'm like, good grief. But she, because she's, I mean, she knows what she's doing.
Give us a chance, woman.
And she has all of the ladies come out in droves to support her, and she's done things like she'll say hashtag and then it'll like be on the screen,
Right.
and then the girls will show up wearing a homemade T-shirt with that hashtag.
Okay.
And
She's
I mean,
a rallier.
yeah,
Yeah, I like a lot
and
of
she
comedians.
also does one of the things that I despise about a lot of female comics,
tell
which is most of your material is rooted in or related to dating.
Right.
And I'm just like, fucking, that's...
I could speak for days on this, like for real. Yeah, it's really back to the basics when you're using that sort of stuff. Dude comics do it too. Nobody cares. They're just used to it. And so when a woman does it, they're like, ugh, and
you're
and
right.
they do that because they're told not to, and then it just self-perpetuates and nobody likes it. And so they're like, can we just have clever and thoughtful comedy from you? But again, it's one of those things where it's like you're trying to curate what she's putting out. I don't think a lot of it's funny. I just want somebody to be actually funny.
Yeah.
I don't care what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It can be sexual. You can be cussing. It can be completely clean. I'm not easy to make laugh. Make me laugh. You got it. Like, you're good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't laugh easy. And it's from years of watching very clever people do very funny things. And so, I don't like things that are just for shock value. And I think when it comes to dudes on stage talking about getting their dick sucked, or women on stage being like, my vagina, like, it's all the same tier. And I wish it was judged equally, but it's not. And I also don't like the whole, like, I love comics that are female. I hate the term female comic. We always get that put on us, you know what I mean? And so it's like female anything, I don't know. There's way less women in comedy than there are men. It's one of those things. Maybe that'll change someday, maybe not. Female sports aren't as popular. They would be if people watched it. Nobody wants to watch it. That's how it is.
I do.
No, it's awesome that you do. I don't. That's what I'm saying. Like, I support women. I support women's sports. I support female, all the stuff. But I'm not like going out of my way to watch like the women's basketball. I'm not that much of a diehard. I hate all sports. I think women should get to play basketball. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I love a female comic. I don't mind sexual comedy peppered in, if it's done cleverly, from either men or women.
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of salacious things
I
that
don't
Louis
know.
has said that are hilarious, and then there's lots of ones that are just like low-hanging fruit.
Yeah. Yeah. So I started watching in like 86, and there were 3. I don't know if... I don't mean to be any kind of way by saying female comic.
You're not going to offend me. No, it's just one of those things where it's just like, I'm like, I was going to say it before you said it anyway. I'm like, now this is going to sound like I'm saying it to him, but I was actually going to say it anyway.
So there's here's the population of comics in the mid 80s. Tons of dudes. Mm-hmm. And Rita Rudner, Judy Tenuta, and Ellen DeGeneres were the only 3 that were visible. And then...
I remember when Ellen was so popular.
She was funny.
Yeah.
But it was different. Mm-hmm. Anyway, those 3 were and then they're really fucking nothing.
Yeah.
Just dudes.
SNL did a lot of justice for the female comic scene because they showed a lot of women, especially early on, like old SNL, like good SNL. There were so many funny women on SNL.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And it really showed like there's this like conflict between like beauty and comedy where it's like you can't be funny if you're too hot, there's this like mishmash, right? And I feel like a lot of the SNL ladies really showed like you can be hot when you're on the red carpet and still make funny faces when you're doing your thing. And so I feel like you really opened up the playing field a little bit for women's improv and just women's comedy in general. Like not like it's its own sect. I'm not saying like that, but I feel like it opened up the field for people to be interested in it, for gals to be like, that's funny. I'm funny. I could do that. Like, I'm a slapstick person. I like to throw my body around and be silly. And it just showed it came into households every night, or every week on SNL.
Yes.
So it just made it a very normal thing for like guys and gals to be funny together.
So now I think comedy is bigger than it's ever been. Mm-hmm. I mean, the social, there's reasons why, but it means that there are a lot more females doing stand-up than there ever has been.
Ever before, of course.
And
that could go for almost anything.
In that mix are some that are funny
Right.
and really good at what they do, and then there's a lot that do the dating thing.
Right, and I think that it's a good point you raise. Because when comedy was, and I was listening to some comics talk about this just the other day. It's so relevant. When comedy was first starting out, it was Roseanne Barr was talking about this on a podcast. I know everybody hates her now. Whatever. But she was talking about when comedy started out, it was the easy stuff, the punny stuff, like the dick and fart jokes, and like, everybody was, oh, you scamp. And then it kind of evolved to like like social commentary, and then you've got George Carlin, and then you've got political stuff, and like, oh, this heady thing, like big brain stuff, and that kind of helped evolve comedy. And then again, like things like SNL were more social commentary, political commentary, all became the applause clap thing happened, and it just comedy did kind of evolve with all these different branches. But the dick and fart jokes got unfunny. People were bored by that once it started to evolve, right? And so think of that as like the time where it's like almost all male, you get more females in there. So then you've got the women kicking off their training wheels because you've got these like the beginning of female. I'm gonna say the words. I'm gonna say it. The beginning of female comics, right? So they're kicking off their training wheels. They've got their dick and their fart jokes, right? And then it slowly starts to evolve more towards things like Jordan Jensen, where it's like she does talk about sex and dating, but she does a lot of like political commentary, a lot of social commentary, and a lot of very confrontational comedy that people aren't used to hearing from women and stuff like that because she's a freaking tough girl. Like, so I think that when it is more normal, I don't think it'll ever be equal. I think we're always going to have more guys in stand up than women.
I think there's why
who's drawn to it.
Why the dudes get away with the sex stuff is because the audience is a lot more dudes.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I'm
no,
not sure.
For sure. I think that it is. It's just more of a male centric area in a lot of different ways. And as that scale starts to tilt a little bit, you'll get more of that same comedic evolution that we got with the initial rise of stand up.
Have you ever consumed any Anthony Jeselnik?
I don't know. That doesn't sound familiar.
It took me a while for him to grow on me, but I really respect it. He is the absolute king of, I did not see that punchline going that direction.
Nice. I love a misdirection.
Totally. That's his bag.
Love misdirections.
Buddy sent me a clip today
Very clever stuff.
of he's got a new.
You'll have to link me.
And the joke goes like this. So I'm at the bar the other night, and he's got this deadpan voice, and couldn't believe it. Looked down into the bar, absolute favorite porn star of all time, just sitting right there. So I pull the bartender over to the side, and I say, hey, I'll have another beer. And also that girl at the end of the bar, she's not supposed to be here. She's only 13.
Oh, man. I love it when, I love it when you have to put things together like that. That's
one
good.
of his specials talking about this friend that he has whose wife hates him. Mm-hmm. And we were hanging out, and the wife calls to chew me out because I'm a bad influence. And he goes, my husband, after hanging out with you, called me a really nasty word. And he goes, uh-oh. Did he use the B word? And she goes, no, Anthony. He didn't call me a bitch. And he goes, uh-oh. Did he use the C word? And she goes, no, Anthony. He didn't call me a cunt. And he cuts her off and goes, well, then he didn't hear it from me.
That's good. That's good.
Oh, anyway. So, like, intro being one, and then learning about albums, those pieces of information jived. They didn't like short circuit you.
No, it was a little strange at first because my child brain was very obsessive with this album specifically, and so it was kind of crazy because the one album jumps all over the place. It jumps all over the place chronologically for what the Beatles did and like their evolution of music.
Yeah.
So it's going all the way to the beginning with like Love Me Do, and then we're doing like stuff later on Sgt. Pepper's, and so it was interesting to see the albums grouped together in like a style like that. Like, like the sound. Like Rubber Soul sounds like Rubber Soul all the way through.
Yeah.
Abbey Road, that's Abbey Road all the way through. And I just became so intimately familiar with all those 4 albums to start with. And then, of course, couldn't get enough online. Was just downloading everything. But I made a point to buy the albums because I was very like into the history of the Beatles, everything. I mean, I wrote a 13-page paper on them in 6th grade for my History Day project.
Damn, that's a big paper for a 6th grader.
I went to a private school for 4 years, and it was like a grammar school, and it's the only reason I can write a freaking sentence. But I was publicly educated for the rest of that time. Really,
that was pretty Jordan-y right there.
Yeah, dude, I watched too much Jordan. I need to stop. I need to stop.
So
her podcast is so good.
What's it called?
Oh my God, I'm
I'll
so
find
sorry,
it. I'll
Jordan.
find it. It's okay. It's
It
okay.
has a really good name.
So years in oldies land and then lots of years in classic rock land. There are, and just constant lips. If I like it, I'm buying it,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to get whatever else this artist put out, blah, blah, blah. So many reps in those lanes that there are songs from those times and genres that I've actually can't hear them anymore because they bother me.
Interesting. Yeah, I get that. It definitely sends me right back to the spot I was when I first hear a lot of Beatles songs.
You know, there are songs on this record that at one time or another bothered me.
Which ones?
Well, like, for stupid like I wanted to poke fun at my buddy that was listening to a lot of Beatles for songs like Paperback Writer, or a repetitive song like Back in the USSR.
Sure.
But there are, I was just talking about this on the episode that comes out this week. Like, there's songs that I've heard all of those times and more that I will never turn it because I love it so, so, so much.
Okay, what are a couple of those?
Hey Jude.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know that song was originally titled
Jude.
Scrambled Eggs.
Seriously?
Paul McCartney's a very silly guy. Yeah,
Wow.
he originally titled it Scrambled Eggs, and their producer was like, "You are not allowed to title this song Scrambled Eggs."
I mean, those opening those notes are what I imagine like heroin being like.
Dude,
it's just like
audible chocolate. Like, really, it is. It's that sweet, smooth audible chocolate.
The other one that I brought up recently is from Abbey Road, and it's is it Carry? It's called Carry That Weight.
Oh yeah, I get that portion stuck in my head. That album's great because they flow into each other a lot. That, God, what is that song? Because it like comes hot off another song.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
yes.
But I get that one stuck in my head a lot, and I always type "Carry That Weight." I think it is, but it's a snippet in between other songs.
It's short. I think it got paired with a.
Yeah.
As far as FM radio was concerned, it got paired with another. So then it's like, oh, this is
like the end of another song or the beginning of another song.
Anyway, just not a. I mean, every song on that is phenomenal.
You can't go wrong.
It's really so
they were
good.
number one hits for a reason.
Yeah. I usually
Yesterday's on there.
Roll through these records in release order, but we've jumped the shark. So which one do you want to go to next from your list?
Let's go in chronological order of my life, man. Because the next band, I made sure to list them in the order that like I evolved in. So the next artist that really changed my life after the Beatles was Townes Van Zandt.
Okay.
And I was exposed to him through a mix CD. And
really?
I originally, from a friend. And so I was just lucky enough to have 3 Townes songs on a CD to fall in love just enough to then go start buying vinyl. Like my first album that I got to complete, listen to start to finish, was on vinyl. I've been collecting vinyl since I was like a little kid. I sold most of it in my 20s, but I'm replenishing.
Starting over.
I am, which don't Google records you sold in your 20s.
No,
don't.
No. So this is our Mother of the Mountain from 1969, second of 10, 11 tracks, 40 minutes. Singer-songwriter out of Texas. Got to go back to episode 70.
There's another Townes fan?
With Brandon and Jesse Rock.
He's
of
so
Skate
obscure,
Bar.
Man.
Do you know Skate Bar? They were in St. Joe, and they're a live music venue, bar, and you can build a skateboard in there. Buy and build a skateboard.
Freaking cool, man.
Now they're in Westport.
St. Joe?
Yeah.
I've heard of this place.
Now they're in Westport, though.
Okay.
So that the two of them came and did one.
They were Townes fans.
She had self-titled Townes debut.
Okay, so you know what? That's the one with him sitting at the table like this, right?
Yeah.
That was I'm going to be honest, the album that I meant to pick.
Oh.
I meant to pick that one, but then because I originally thought that the song I loved was on that one. That's actually the album I was most acquainted with. That was the first album I owned. And I almost messaged you that night to be like, dude, can I switch last minute?
Oh, you should have.
Well, I thought about it. But I have all of them now. And so to me, I know Townes like the back of my own hand. And so I was like, it's irrelevant. Who cares?
Okay.
Because I really did. The self-titled album, Townes Van Zandt, is like creme de la creme. But again, I know so much about him now. I know so many of his songs. He's like family to me at this point. This is a great Townes album. And so like, honestly, this is like the Townes album that you listen to when you've kicked off your Townes training wheels.
Okay.
Like, this is the album where you deep dive. Like the first one, the Townes Van Zandt self-titled, is a great entry into Townes to just get a feel for him. Also, the Live in Houston double disc So good. That's where he tells all his little jokes. Um,
I worked at.
I will not repeat.
Wait, what are you not repeating?
There's his jokes on that
Oh, okay,
album.
okay.
Go listen.
I did getting ready for this. I did the same thing I did getting ready for episode 70, which is flashback to a gig I had in college working at a group home, and the director of the group home, she and her husband had named maybe their firstborn towns.
Wow.
And I was like, and
Valid,
so then I
worthy.
wanted to look her up, and also her right hand gal, her the only other person in administration beyond us full time and part time counselors, both just phenomenal human beings and phenomenal women that were running this amazing program. I think I found the second gal, but I still can't find, and I just want to see her face.
Yeah.
I really do, because I know a little bit of Floodgate.
Right.
Well, because she just blew me away how freaking on it
That's
and
cool.
organized and intelligent and compassionate. And anyway,
That's awesome.
I was like, Towns, is that related to the dudes from Leonard Skinner?
I know, right?
And it's
It's crazy. He never wanted to be famous. He never wanted to. He was buddies with Steve Earle. He hung out with Willie Nelson. Why does that sound wrong to me? Yeah, he hung out with Nelson. He hung out with Steve Earle. He was buddies with Maria Muldaur. Like Steve Earle's sister as well. Like he ran around with all those people. And they were all like, they always encouraged him to do more. But he had no interest in being famous. And that is what makes him so very precious. He was never exploited by the masses in that way. He's just a gem that people discover, and I've never talked to a single person that feels lukewarm about Towns. If you mention Towns Van Zandt and somebody recognizes the name, they are on you. They're like, "You go to Towns Fit?" I'd be like, "I think I love my Towns. What? Tell me all about it. Let's be friends." Because
oh, that's funny.
he really is just bursting with talent, and his lyrics are amazing. He's just so truly, genuinely emotional, poetic, intelligent, revolutionary, and completely tortured by life. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely. He tried to commit suicide. I think he was around 55. He jumped off a bridge.
Damn.
And he lived. And then
he died in his 50s, didn't he?
I think he didn't live much longer after that. He died of heart problems related to prolonged years of drug use and alcohol abuse and stuff.
Do you know what he was? I knew he was drinking, but do you know what he was?
Drug wise?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Okay.
Who knows? I don't know. I don't know that part. I know that. Well, I'm saying I don't know. Of course I know. He writes about it. Codeine. He definitely had a codeine problem.
Okay.
It just popped in my head. The lyric popped into my head. His name is Codeine, and he's the nicest thing I've seen. Yeah, talking about finally finding a friend.
Do you need more beverage?
I will. I will need more water.
Okay.
I'm a tropical flower. I need lots of moisture.
Are you okay if I grab you a bottled water?
That'd be great.
Okay. So 3 observations about listening to this Towns record. One, he has a way of mentioning or including women in a way that sort of it's almost like you get a glimpse at their personality just from like 4 words in a line. That's the first thing. And 2, booze makes its way into his lyrics a lot, so you know that was a thing.
He was a real cowboy type,
And 3, kind of related to 1 with the women, scenery. I mean, lyrically, it's like there's nothing profound per se, but it's like
it's profound. It's simplicity.
Immediately, I'm like, I see that room. I can hear.
He's a great storyteller.
Yeah.
Yeah, his songs are stories. Like, they really are. He paints whole scenes, and he really makes it real. And you should listen to the song Rake.
Okay.
Rake. It is so good. And one of the lyrics is, a lover of women, he can't hardly stand. He trembles, he's bent, and he's broken.
Nice.
I've fallen, it's true, but I say unto you, hold your tongues until after I've spoken. Such a good poet. But yeah, he lived like a rake and a young man, and he had many women that loved him. But he was actually in love with one of I forget which famous musician. There's a really good article on it. Might have been Steve Earle, but another famous folk artist, his wife. Like they were in love with each other. And it was kind of they call them thwarples now, but it, like basically they're quoted on it. It's like a known thing, but the husband knew that when her and Towns met, he was like, "Oh, they're soulmates." Well, we're already married. What are you going to do? And so Towns has a lot of like unrequited love songs that you know are about her.
Thwarples?
Thwarple, like a 3-person couple.
And everybody, fucking everybody?
I don't think they were. I think they were. I think it was just
as far as
known
that term goes.
that nowadays, yeah. That's for the polyamorous people. I don't know.
That word.
Not me.
Could you do that?
What? No.
Be in that P
No,
lane?
No, not for me. Not for me.
No hesitation.
What, to say no?
Yeah.
I had my 20s already. I'm good. Yeah, dude. I'm good. They call it polyamory. It's just be called dating. I don't know. Whatever, next level. But he was in love with this guy's wife, and it was just kind of known between all of them that that's just how it was, right? And so it was very unrequited, and there's definitely some themes later on where you can tell, like, that was the woman he really wanted to be with. So he has lots of songs about lots of beautiful women that he was with for a while that weren't her. But, you know.
Interesting.
One of my favorite songs that Towns has written about, so many of his songs are written about his lovers, it's just ridiculous. But, oh God, okay, mental blank. All these other songs are, Quicksilver Daydreams of Maria.
Ooh, that's
so
a cool
good.
title.
It gets stuck in my head probably once a week. Like I have to listen to this song all the time. It haunts me. I love it so much. It's a song full of alliterations. Like it was like the week that he discovered alliterations. And he was like, every other word is going to be alliteration. Right. But it is one of those songs where it's like he writes it about this gal, right, Maria? And he's like talking about just she's more beautiful than nature. Like the painter lays down his paintbrush, the sculptor cannot sculpt, nothing compares to Maria. Like it is so verbose, you know. And you know this girl is just like, wow, Towns, thank you. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, so he definitely knew what he was doing.
You guys know that song?
Yeah, that was about me. I am Maria. No, I'm sure she was much more charming than that. Yeah, can you imagine being the subject of one of his songs? And then there's lots of songs about him walking away and leaving town and leaving lovers behind and then being upset. Like he traveled all around. He spent a lot of time in Oklahoma, Colorado, like all over the Midwest, you know, and the prairie and the mountains and stuff. But so who knows how many broken hearts he left. Right. And illegitimate children are out there. A trail of Towns Van Zandt.
What's next?
T-Rex.
Okay.
T-Rex, baby.
Now, I gotta tell you, before for a time I was able to. I don't pay for Spotify. Okay.
Yeah, don't.
I pay for a different streaming service, and there is a playlist on Spotify that is 600 albums and 20. I don't know anymore how many thousands of hours.
Good Lord.
And it keeps getting added to, and it just like it literally played 24/7, 365 through my speaker in my kitchen, so that when the Spotify rap thing would happen, they would be like, "You're a fucking astronaut in the 1%." Like, what in the world? And it's awesome. Like, well, I'm not home.
Not listening to it the whole time.
Or awake for a lot of it.
That's ambience for the room.
But just and I would hear some, well, who is this? And then
that's cool.
Put it on the thing. Anyway, they figured it out and changed it so that it like gets stuck on an ad.
Yeah.
And then I can. And then
they
I have
do that on YouTube too.
Really?
Mm-hmm. They've really found out how to put a little pin in the music lovers' time.
Well, and it's I'm listening to ads.
Yeah.
And I can't listen to anything in the order that it was curated. It's all
so
shuffle.
Annoying. That is so annoying.
So all of my ads were Spotify ads, being like premium, and I'm like, I got it.
Exactly
I got
what
it.
They're doing.
So anyway, I can't listen to that anymore because it's too troublesome to navigate. But probably 2 track, because this T-Rex album,
so
Electric
Love
Warrior,
T-Rex.
is
Love
on that
T-Rex.
Playlist.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I was like, holy fuck, who is this? And I
T-Rex.
looked, and I was like, this is fucking T-Rex. Mm-hmm. Bang a gong, get it on.
So good. Right. That's the song that
no
got kind of
way.
popular.
Oh, so
right?
I can't stand. I've heard it too many times.
I don't like that one. No, the song that I first fell in love with was Cosmic Dancer.
Okay.
I heard that first. And the bar was set really high.
This is 71, second of 7 as T-Rex, but maybe 4 prior where they were Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah, there was a minute where they were Tyrannosaurus Rex.
11
and I
tracks.
think they had issues with another band being called that.
Really?
Yeah, I think there's something like that, yeah.
11 tracks, 39 minutes.
I stand corrected. The first T-Rex song I heard was Hot Love, and it was on one of my high school comp albums.
Okay.
I forgot about that. That's a single they released. I have it on 45 now. I bought it at a record store in Oklahoma.
The reason I was very glad that this was on your list was because until getting ready for this conversation, that's all I could say. Dude, there's a fucking T-Rex album that is full of bangers, and it's on this playlist. Cool. I'd have to go.
Oh, I'm so glad.
And now I know.
Awesome.
That cover art is icon, like just the coolest image.
Electric Warrior's really good, and then Slider's really good.
Well, I think that for whatever reason, Jeepster is blocked out.
Jeepster's so good.
So you got to go to the Anyway.
That song is good. I love T-Rex.
The run of songs up to Bang a Gong.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Unbelievable. And then it's whatever. And then
after that, full of this stuff.
After that, I'm like, it's not as good as the first half.
Right. Yeah, what do we got? Life's a Gas, Rip Off. Yeah. The second half is a little slow.
Life's a Gas good, though. It's good.
Life's a Gas.
So how does this land in your lap? This record.
Okay, so originally, as I said, I'd forgotten the Hot Love was a track on a comp CD that had been given to me in high school.
Okay.
And I loved it. And then I started dating a local band person, record collector, and I brought up the Hot Love song, and he was like, I've got all the T-Rex albums, and he put this on. And Mambo Sun played, and then Cosmic Dancer played, and I was like, hold on. Rewind. Like,
yeah.
Over and over. I wore a hole in that groove, dude. I love Cosmic Dancer so much. And that song just really, like, I don't know what it is. It's just a perfect song. Sometimes you hear a song, and it's just bloody perfect.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, you want it to be 10 hours, but it wouldn't be perfect.
No.
You want it to be a little longer, but it wouldn't be perfect.
Yeah.
They nailed it with that one. And I got really, really into them. And I started listening to this album a lot, Electric Warrior, and then Slider.
Okay.
Which Slider is the title of the album, and there's a song also called Slider on the album. Oh, such a good song. I Slide. Oh, it's so good.
You were dating somebody that had that
massive record collection.
How long ago?
This would have been in like 2008.
Okay. That's kind of the origin of the vinyl renaissance, isn't it?
It was. Yeah, he'd been collecting his whole life though. He'd been collecting his whole life. He was born in 76. Isn't that your year?
I'm 74.
74. I knew you were close to that. Yeah, so he was a 76 baby, little punk rock guy. He's also not with us any longer.
Oh.
But yeah.
Okay.
The opiate epidemic. And he had a room full of records. Like
Jesus.
it was.
Do you remember how they were organized?
He had crates, milk crates, and record boxes, like the lidded kind. And then he also had a 45 shelf that his father had built, which was just for 45s, and it was full.
But I mean, alphabetically.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I think it was alphabetical.
Or what about yours? Do you have a way?
Mine's not big enough yet anymore to really care. I just have my favorites in the front. Towns. It starts with Towns, and then it goes to T-Rex, and I've
what are you up to? Like 30, 100?
I'm probably closer to like 60 now.
Okay.
And then I've got a whole stack of 45s. I've got lots of 45s.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, so you have the adapter thing? Really?
Mm-hmm. You know, I'll tell you something really funny, and feel free to laugh. When I had my first record player ever, I was 12, and I got a free 45 from Hot Topic when it looked like Hot Topic, right? And it was Him, the band Him, which I didn't know anything about. I was 12. And I was like, this is cool and hardcore. And so I took it home and I put it on my record player, and it was like this weird, slow, drudging, low, funereal, just...
What's that word?
Funereal.
Funereal?
Yeah, it sounded like a funeral march.
Oh.
It was weird.
Okay, cool.
And deep and ambient. And I was like, I love this so much. It is so weird. And I was like, this is hitting just right. I'm 12. Like, puberty's here and I'm feeling demonic. And I listened to that fucking 45 for months. And I don't know what happened. I think maybe my sister, who's about almost a decade older than me, probably noticed what I was doing. At some point I discovered that there were speeds.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'd been playing it on 33. And so then I turned it on 45, and it was like thrash. And it was like, and I was like, ew, this is dead to me now. Like, I liked it when it was low and weird, but that's when I discovered that records had speeds.
Right.
And I was like, oh, so this is something I should like pay attention to moving forward.
So tell me, in our messages, you sent me a picture, and I said I can't screenshot. Like there was some kind of weird.
It was my records.
It was, and you told me that you have.
Oh yeah, I'd sent you the picture of the Towns album.
Yes, but you told me about a box. And
oh yeah,
portable.
I have a Victrola like record box with a handle for like being able to be portable. My record player is also portable. The whole unit's portable.
And you bought that on purpose.
Yeah, because it's price friendly. If I could afford like a real receiver and a Technics turntable and the speakers, I would do that. But it's not something that God, I'm too busy buying guitars, dude. I can't be investing in all that other stuff. You know what I mean? It's just priorities. So I just needed something to play my records on in a small space that was easy to move around. You know. What
was is that a setting? Is that an intentional setting to where the person can see the picture and then it's gone? Do you know?
Oh, dude, no. Okay, see, you are so much like me, like, just Luddites over here. That's like a feature, I guess.
What's a Luddite?
It's somebody that does not use technology and rejects
okay,
it. It's like almost a religion, right?
I mean,
I compare myself to a Luddite on a regular basis because I'm closer to that than I am to, like, modern people. Yeah, when somebody sent me a picture like that the first time, I was like, it disappeared. I don't know what this is. It's a new feature on Instagram chat that I am not even fully familiar with. So when I took that picture, I was like, oh shoot, this is one of those pictures that he can't screenshot and that disappears and is basically useless. It's for people doing naughty things, man. You know, like like Snapchat style.
Okay. Well, yeah.
But I'm like trying to do business on YouTube, on Instagram, and so it's very frustrating for me when I'm trying to like send clients pictures of paintings, and they're like, "It disappeared," and I'm like, "I'm sorry, I have to take it on my camera."
I thought it was an intentional like privacy,
it's
and
me
I was
not
like,
knowing how to use
and I was
technology.
Like, but your record player, like, is that?
No one can
are we
look
invading?
at my record player. Don't copy me, Blair. Stop trying to copy me. No, it was totally me just
Blair
being
guy
ignorant.
taught him everything he knows.
I went over to Blair's, and he had the same record player as me. He copied.
I showed up. He was wearing the same outfit as me. I'm not even sure how he knew.
I look over. You're just in my hat all of a sudden. I'm like, I'm wearing your beanie. I'm like,
yeah. Nevertheless, man, I this is the kind of record that is dangerous for me in the sense that it really is pulling me in that T-Rex rabbit hole.
Yeah, go.
Where it's like
I've
already got such a huge freaking list.
Dude,
like,
it's worth it, Blair. It's worth it. Not okay. For some reason, people compare T-Rex with David Bowie a lot, and I think it's just because people aren't used to hearing good music, and so they're like, yeah, the greats, David Bowie, the Beatles, T-Rex, like they're in that. It's like when people compare the Rolling Stones to the Beatles. I'm like, stop. Why are you doing this?
Okay, so I got a big issue with that, and the issue is this. T-Rex gives off a very cool, inclusive
funky
groove.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, let's do some drugs and take our clothes. Right. Who knows? But it's all good either way.
Yeah.
And also very unassuming.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't need to be like the guy that shreds or the pipes that. This is just what
good.
Yes.
It stops at perfect.
Yeah.
Like they don't push past. It's one of those things. There's so much to be said for subtlety. Like
there you go.
We are so used to the extremes of everything all the time and the overconsumption of everything all the time that when somebody comes in and they just hit that bass note just right and there's just a smooth vocaloid over it and it's 3 minutes of absolute bliss, you're just like, I needed that.
Yeah.
Like it heals part of you that's just used to being force fed so much ludicrous pop trash. I'm sorry. But like as a child of the 90s who was a fan of older music in her childhood, I remember being like literally in like 5th and 6th grade and be like, modern music is terrible. Like I was there for when boy bands came out and God bless her soul, Britney Spears, that poor girl, like
80s,
all that stuff.
Where everybody was like, we don't really need instruments. Let's just
the synthesizer, the birth of synth.
Garbage.
Yeah.
What I did discover...
I appreciate that point of view.
What I did discover, not really recently anymore, but in the grand scheme recent, probably too early for you, although maybe...
I like a lot of old stuff.
Maybe it caught... So for flash in the pan. Robert Palmer had "Addicted to Love,"
Okay.
and the video was these like white makeup, slick black
Right.
hair gals in like black suit coats.
The vibe,
just,
dude. It got edgy.
Just doing this dance. The lights are on, but you're not
A
home.
true work of theatrics.
Well, so he had that, and then he had, I think his other one was Addicted to Love, and I think the vibe was the same.
Right.
And anyway, bam, massive hit. Bam, massive hit. Nothing.
That's it.
Like weird. And somebody said to me, again, kind of recently, dude, have you listened to old Robert Palmer shit? I'm like, he made...
Is it great?
Oh
Isn't that funny?
my
Isn't that
God.
funny? Okay, dude, okay, I know.
Just the sickest, like, who
Really?
put LSD in my coffee?
I'll have to check
and
it out. Okay.
Swapped all my
So,
clothes
like,
for leather. I mean...
It's like old Leonard Cohen versus new Leonard Cohen. Like, it's like old Tom Waits versus new Tom Waits, or later, however you want to look at it. But, like, have you ever listened to Tom Waits stuff before he started doing the gravelly pirate voice?
There's only 2 records, really, in my
Yeah.
recollection.
I don't know
where
what
he's
the-
more...
He's just a guy singing.
Singing.
He's just singing with his real voice.
Yeah.
He has a
Beautiful.
beautiful voice, man. He's got a beautiful voice. He's a great pianist. Like, man, he was putting his real music out there, heart and soul, and nobody wanted it.
I
That's
fucking
the
love
sad.
that.
I do too.
I'm
I do
like,
too.
I wish you would have done
Oh, I
4
know.
or 5, and then...
Honestly, I wish he'd gone back to it after becoming
Well.
so successful as the caricature Tom Waits that we know today. You know, but I love both. But it's like I wish people are sleeping on original Tom Waits music, dude.
Man,
He was
okay,
so good.
so there's a couple that are older, and then Mule Variations, which I don't know if it's... I can't recall the year. Fuck. I mean, so... And, like, it's not interested in hitting the sink pipe with a 2x4 and the scratching,
Yeah.
and he's making...
I love that.
And it's like there's a tune, it closes near the end. There's a tune called Come On Up to the House. And it's just
You getting chills?
fucking nostalgic.
I love
like,
it.
I've always loved the human that you are. And if you happen to be near and you have some time, come on up to the house.
Oh, I love that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, like, I first heard, I swear to God, I was like, stop. Hey, a Kleenex,
Yeah.
recalibrate.
I have to go have an ugly cry
Yeah,
now.
yeah, and
Uh-huh.
he's just a goddamn gem.
That's
I mean,
awesome. Dude, you're going to have to send me so many links after this. Or no, I will just rewatch this back and go through and be like, okay, this is what I got to check out.
Are you? So some people, I don't hear anything.
Yeah.
Send you all the stuff once it's out, and then wait a week to. Hey, did you? Oh, dude,
I'm totally going to post a short on my channel that was like, I was on
well,
this podcast,
folks,
guys.
there are folks that don't want to.
Hear themselves. Yeah, no, I get that.
But you
gotten
will?
over it.
You'll
I've
do
got-
it? Okay,
Oh yeah.
okay.
No, I have to listen to myself talk all the time, and I have to go like not only that, but when I'm doing the song stuff and I'm doing like the actual audio editing, just the audio, sometimes I have to listen to the same 3 seconds like 40 times. And
It's a real skill.
yeah, well, and like I'm matching things up with perfect timing to get my like sound bites in, and it's vocals I'm doing, right? And so it's like 2 seconds, and I have to listen to that freaking 2 seconds like a million times, right? So I definitely was somebody that hated my own voice with a passion, like my whole life, like cringe, crawl out of my skin. Yeah, I got over it. There's still certain times where I'll be on the phone and I'll hear my voice, reflected back at me, and I'm just like, ugh.
Well, it's old school, old guy. If you coming into the house from school, wherever, and somebody's calling the landline,
Right.
and the answering machine is about to pick up, I'm not running to the phone because
whoever your own voice to stop. Yeah.
whoever's calling, like, I'll figure that part out.
Right.
I don't need to get you before you hang up. I just don't want to hear my
Don't
fucking.
make me hear me.
Yeah.
No, I'll definitely listen to it back because I'm definitely gonna want to look up all the bands that you referenced. And
Well, I don't
I'm
know.
always looking for new music, and you definitely have like a huge range of stuff that you listen to. So
Not
please
really.
keep listening to T-Rex.
I just have stories to tell. I
I get that.
I listen to just a few things, honestly.
Yeah, I'm super hyper focused now on the last album.
Fucking Curveball City. I knew it right away. I was like, what the fuck?
Really?
Yeah.
Red Elvises.
Red Elvises.
Hey, my dudes, your favorite band, Red Elvises. We are your
Drinking with
favorite
Jesus.
band. Hey, Red Elvis.
2008, 11th to 13,
Read the
13
room.
songs, 39 minutes, LA-based American cult band
It is, isn't
that performs funk rock.
I saw them.
Rockabilly, surf, reggae, folk, rock, disco, traditional
It is
Russian
Russian
style.
surf rock.
Well,
That's the easiest way to put it when people are
okay.
like, what is it? Russian surf rock.
So visually, curveball, and then I hit play, and immediately I'm getting like, what is the shit? I should have written it down. It's like La Bamba or something.
Yeah, they got kind of a rockabilly, kind of a like surf rock, kind of like a... Dude, there's even like reggae themes in their songs. Yeah.
But it's like there's riffs in a lot of these tunes that remind me of other tunes.
They literally do that. So it took me a while to figure out that that's what he was doing. There's even a song where they have like a Pink Floyd lick in it.
Oh.
And then I don't think it's on here, but there's a song where they use the tune from the song Brazil, the movie Brazil. Brazil, da 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 da. Okay, so that little tune is in one of the Red Elvises songs at the very beginning. So they do, it's not like parody, it's not spoofing, but there's definitely like nods to very famous guitar licks, albums, and songs all throughout all of their stuff.
Interesting. So who is the fascinating person that turned you on to them?
My love of loves. Yes, my fiance. He attended. The Red Elvises came to play at not the Bottleneck. What's the other one? It's where I saw the Handsome Furs. Oh, this is gonna drive me. Maybe it is the Bottleneck. It's on the main street. It's on Mass.
Granada?
No, small. I'll think of it. But they were gonna perform there. And it was like a blizzard. So this would have been closer to when this album was actually coming out.
Huh.
This was a while ago. He was living in Lawrence, like college times.
Yeah.
And blizzard, full snow out. We're talking like feet of snow, and they're supposed to perform that night. So he just walked. He walked down to the Jackpot.
Never even heard of it.
Great band. Great bar. Seen lots of cool bands there. But he went to the Jackpot, and the Red Elvises played. And now these people have incredible stage presence. They're all about getting people stomping their feet and yelling, and they're crazy. They're freaking psychotic, and it doesn't matter if the audience isn't participating. They're going to bring it at an 11 the entire time.
Nice.
And so they did that. They went all out for that show, and it was him and like 4 other audience members just standing in the Jackpot watching the Red Elvises lose their shit on stage. Yeah. And so after that, he had like a compilation album of their music that he got a hold of, and he listened to it. And so one day, this was a couple winters ago, we were hanging out, and we were gonna smoke some real high quality like hash oil, and I was like, let's get like a good album to like, you know. And he was like, I've been thinking about the Red Elvises lately, and when I saw them back in Lawrence during that blizzard, and he's like, I want to hear that album again. And so he puts it on, and I was like, go 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 go. Like they played the song "My Love Is Killing Me" came on. I cover it. It's on my channel.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, and it's literally a song about my love is killing me, and it sounds like she's just loving him a little too hard. He can't keep up with the hospital bills. You know what I mean? And it's a very funny little like double entendre style song, but he's writing it in this very emotional way where it's my love is killing me. You know, so good, so good. And so I became obsessed with that song, and I had to cover it. I even went out and bought a shaker egg just so I could do it right. And then after that, I looked up the band, saw their website, which is just literally also from 2008, and saw that they were coming to Lee Summit the next year. And I was like, venue? I'm going to be... Shoot. I'd never been there before. This is going to drive me crazy. I'm not very familiar with Lee Summit, but it definitely had like a garage door that opened up. So the whole side of the venue opens up.
Small.
Yes.
Okay.
Very small.
Okay.
Black box stage. Like they were on the ground with us. You know, I touched him without consent. That dirty old man. Right. He didn't care. Right. He loved it. Yeah. But he was there in his weird silk frickin' suit with his Elvis shoes and all of it. It was amazing. But so I didn't want to go see the show without actually knowing the music. I didn't, you know, I was like, I want to really get into this band a little bit more than just the one song that I've obsessed over. And so I started just going down the albums, and I was like, all the songs are good. Stop. Like every single one. These albums fucking slam, dude. It's so good. And it's great like hype music. Like when I'm going to go vend, it's a lot of physical labor. I'm doing it alone. I have to be a showman the entire time. It's a long event. By the end, I'm tearing down alone. Like you need stamina. And I'm like scraping the bottom of the bowl, right? But anytime I need to get pumped for stuff now, I'm like, take me there, Red Elvises. Let's go. And so, like, I have used this album as like an energy source for the whole last 2 years. Yeah, very much. And so by the time I actually got to see them in person, I was like stupidly a fan. I was just like, I can't believe I'm gonna get to see Igor. The Igor, like that fat, dirty old slob. I can't wait. Like, I love him. Like,
I hope I get a little bit of perspiration on me.
No, for real, dude. I was such a fangirl over this dirty old man. It's so funny because, like, he is just a dirty old man.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. He's disgusting. It's hilarious. And he talks about it in his songs. Yeah, a lot of his songs are about looking for girls to bone, and just, it's just so funny. You gotta listen to his lyrics. And so, you know, I was like, the man, the myth, the legend. He's got this big beer belly, and he wears these, like, silky pajama suits.
Sure.
And it's just crazy. The whole vibe. And he's Russian as fuck. And so it's just,
R-A-F.
I'm like, hello, Igor, I'm Tasha.
Yeah.
So nice to meet
Yeah.
you. I'm very, very intrigued by everything you have to say to me today. Like, please.
How hash oil versus flour?
I do flour mostly, but that's just because my lungs can hardly handle it. Anything.
What?
Hash oil's stronger.
So
It's real strong. It's hard because of my pain disorders and stuff. I can't really get high easily. Like, if I smoke, it's more for just pain management.
Interesting.
And so if I want, like, to feel high, I have to up the ante a little bit.
Okay.
Maybe do, like, a little hash or hash oil or something like that.
How long have you been in fiance land?
We have, like, a freaking medieval engagement. It's a very long engagement.
Okay.
You know. Let's see. We bought a house together. Like, I bought the house in 2020. And we got engaged that same year.
Okay.
So 5 years now.
Okay.
5 years this August it'll be.
And how did you two connect?
We met in 2015 on Tinder, baby.
No way.
I swipe right on this boy.
No way.
Yeah, and I always say
Tinder
this.
was around back then?
Yeah, it was just beginning. It was OG Tinder. It was when there were no other dating apps, like no swipey apps. It was in the very beginning of that. And I'm lucky. I'm so flippin' lucky. I went on one awkward date with some dude where it was literally, we just walked around Lawrence and I was like, this is awful. See ya. And then the second person I like met up with was Thomas on Tinder. But when we met, this is so funny, dude. Okay, so both had fake names. Him and I both had fake names on Tinder. We both lied about our location, lied about the town we were in.
Wow.
Because the town that we are from is such shite that you don't want to date in that town. And so we were like trying to open up the parameters, right? So he was like, yeah, I'm in this town. I was like, cool. I'm in this town. And so we started chatting, right? I swiped right on him because he had a picture where he winked. And I was like, I like a guy that's confident enough to wink. He seemed like a real sweet softie. And I was like, he looks soft. He looked like one of those like teddy bear metalheads.
Okay.
Where they're like big and like, you know, fierce and swarthy, but like they're like the guy that's always protecting people at the party, you know, like he seemed like one of those. And then at the end with the wink, I was like, he got an edge. He got an edge. And I really liked just, you know, chatting and stuff. And we were only friends for years. We were friends for years and I moved away for a long time.
Really?
Uh-huh. And then when I came back, I moved to Colorado for a while.
Where?
Where?
Uh-huh.
Did I move?
Uh-huh.
Colorado. Yeah, moved away.
Where in Colorado?
Oh, so silly. Aurora.
Okay.
Ugh.
Okay.
I've been all over,
Sure.
but yeah, I was residing, unfortunately, in Aurora.
You know.
Ugh.
You're close to cool stuff.
I mean, when you're spending that much to live in a state, you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
I'm like, if I want to see that stuff, I can stay where I'm at. I
Yeah,
don't need all
yeah.
this, you know, increased cost of living. But when I came back, I was like, oh man, it's been a while. I don't know anybody around here anymore. And I was like, what about that guy? I used to hang out, play video games. He's local. And so I messaged him. And we hung out a little more.
How did you, what platform?
I just texted him. I just had his number. I just texted him.
Gotcha,
I was like, bro, I'm in town. Do you want to kick it? And so we kicked it. That was in 2017.
Okay.
And
Is
then
he arts adjacent as well? Or?
he's tech world. He's full tech world.
Okay.
He's also like into like old school gaming. You know, he's Miss Pac-Man was like the first game he played. I'm desperate. I've been trying to convince him to let me do an interview with him about his history of gaming, because I realized that he writes his timeline of his life based on the game he was playing that year.
That's pretty cool.
Like how often with album. Oh, I am so sorry.
It's fine. It's fine.
Oh my God, please cut that.
It's fine.
Yeah. So like how we have certain albums that tie us to certain times in our life. He has games.
Cool.
And I realized that one day.
That's
and,
there's got to be a fascinating story.
I
in
have
there.
a note in my phone of his every year of his life, what game dominated.
Damn.
And every year, every new year, I'm like, all right, what was it? What was the game? What made the list? And I know lots of kids now are into like the history of gaming and retro gaming, and I'm like, you have a book on you about this. Like, please let me interview you,
Right.
even just for my own benefit
Right.
on my channel. But it's quite fascinating. So, yeah, that's who got me into the Red Elvises, and he was a fan. But I took it and I was just like, oh, this is mine.
Mine
yeah,
now.
Yeah, I drug him along to the show and everything, and it was pretty great.
Well, it was a great list. I'm really happy that you shared it.
Thank you, Blair.
Is there anything missing from your notes that
Yes. Let me give you some honorable mentions.
Oh, yeah.
After punching the mic. Okay, so like when I was a kid, my mom cleaned houses, and there was this like kind of well-off couple that she cleaned for, Harriet and Steve Lerner. Harriet Lerner wrote The Anger Dance, that kind of famous book about like anger and relationships and stuff. She's like a published psychiatrist, I think. So Harriet's really cool. Well, her husband Steve was a musician, had a recording studio in his house, and I was like a child and like playing around his guitars in the recording studio, and it was all just like really big to me. And so they gave me his cassette tape, which was called Rear View Mirror. And it has him looking in the rearview mirror, like classic.
Yeah.
And it had like 6 songs on it. I used to play that on like literally like Teddy Ruxpin. Like I'm talking like kids cassette players and stuff. And it was like pretty hardcore folk stuff. And it just always really inspired me. And
Cool.
I just
Like
wanted
he
to
had
give a
chops?
shout out to,
Like he had chops?
Oh, it was good. It was so good. Yeah, like he did a lot of acoustic. His vocals were amazing. He played harmonica and he did a lot of his own layering and stuff. But those songs had a big influence on me, just like as a guitarist and songwriter, because it showed me that you can literally just have a studio in your house and make your own album. Nobody's stopping you. Like, you do not need a record company. You don't need any of that. Like, be Daniel Johnston. Record every single one individually and just put it out there, So yeah, Steve Lerner, kind of freaking, obscure. The Vibrators, the punk band The Vibrators. They were around in the 70s. They were a big deal. I got to see them at Davies Uptown as old fat men that just did not have the energy for it anymore. They like mumbled all the lyrics. I was like, guys, I paid $50 to get into this bar in the early thousands. Give it up. So love The Vibrators. Huge influence. David Bowie all the way. It was hard not to pick a David Bowie album. Like, he's one of my top artists of all time for sure. I mean, easy.
I just went through top to the...
Really?
The whole, 20. Do
you have a favorite Bowie song?
7 records, I think.
Lord.
I think.
Any favorites? Songs of his? It's hard to pick. It's like not even a fair question.
I don't. Here's what I'll say is that I was very surprised to learn that the first record or two are like, not the David Bowie that we would. He was just a dude.
He was just a
making
dude.
records.
We all started somewhere,
and it was cool. I was glad to learn that.
Right.
Even
he was just a guy at one point.
I know this is probably actual David Bowie fans are gonna roll their eyes.
Complain.
But like Ziggy and Changes. There's just.
Hey, you can't knock the stuff that made somebody famous. You know what I mean?
I would love to say. So I always say. One listen earns you nothing, which is funny because that's what I do for this. 2 listens, and I'm talking as undistracted as you can be.
Actually listen.
Earns you an opinion, but a 3rd listen gives you permission to share that opinion.
I like it.
So
you say that.
I'm so fucking far from a Bowie scholar.
Sure.
So there's probably the answer is probably out there, like the X-Files, the truth stuff. But I don't recall listening to any Bowie record where I was like, well, this sucks.
Right. Oh no, doesn't happen. Do you know the Beach Boys? Boys. You know the song "God Only Knows" by the Beach Boys?
Yeah, of course.
Bowie covers that song.
Yeah,
and it is better than the original, which is hard to say about the Beach Boys because they are like amazing.
Yeah.
His cover of God Only Knows.
Peace to Brian Wilson. Yeah, man was around for a minute.
Schizophrenic. Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Really cool guy. Okay, and then also the Undertones. Such a good band. Old punk band from the 70s.
Okay.
So freaking good. The Undertones, like T-Rex, you can't find any bad songs. It's all good. Everything by the Undertones is so good. And it's one of those bands that I love so hard for so long that I forget about them. and then I'll see a song and it'll come on and I'll be like, why am I not listening to the undertones every day?
Right.
And the Strokes, same deal with the Strokes.
Oh.
Love the Strokes.
Yeah.
Every time the Strokes come on, I'm like, why am I not listening to this constantly? I love the Strokes. So just honorable mention there. And then Captain Beefheart, but specifically, Her Eyes Are a Blue Million Miles. This song plays as diegetic music in The Big Lebowski. When the dude opens the door to his landlord, and the landlord's giving him shit for not paying his rent, in the background.
Hey, dude, it's the 10th already.
Yes.
Far out,
yeah,
man.
Turn that scene up, because in the background is Captain Beefheart's Her Eyes Are a Blue Million Miles playing. It's not listed in the soundtrack because it's not in the soundtrack, it's in the movie. It is such a good song. Yeah.
Far out, man.
Captain Far Out, man. Yeah, well, rent's due, you know.
That's where
Yeah, Zappa.
Captain Beefheart came to be known in my mind in the
Right, this is another two that people pair together a lot, almost
Well,
like they were competing.
Beefheart does vocals on
He does.
It's an instrumental album, but he does vocals on the one
know this. I
track.
always thought that they were like rivals.
No, they were
Okay, well that's why people pair them together. I never got that into Zappa, but I was always okay with Beefheart. Really? Should I?
Well,
can I hit the loop really
do
quick?
it, do it,
I'm
do
so
it.
sorry. Thank you. I'd rather show up in person.
Zappa is a whole other. I mean, I really hate how hyperbolic language has become these days,
Right.
and everybody's the goat and
Sure.
But I'm telling you,
But Zappa's actually
he
the
was
goat.
actually a genius.
Okay.
And ahead of his time.
Sure.
In his he closes his biography talking about like we're on the brink of privacy going away.
So he just knew
A health
already.
pandemic that's going to affect the human immune system.
Oh my.
I mean, it's like boom, 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 and then all of a sudden, anyway, he.
I wonder what CIA agent he knew.
He's just too freaking. Anyway,
I wonder who tipped him off.
he also PMRC, Tipper Gore in the 80s.
Tipper Gore sounds familiar.
She's Al Gore's wife.
Okay.
He was Reagan's VP. I think he was Reagan's VP.
Okay.
Anyway, some politician wives were like, they shouldn't be cussing on records.
Oh God.
So
oh, God.
they
Oh my God.
So they create this PMR Parent Music whatever organization that conveniently Congress just boom, here you are in existence.
Interesting.
And that's where we get explicit content labels. And
Thank you for letting me know what I want to buy.
Zappa, Dee
course.
Snider from Twisted Sister,
Right.
and John Denver went to Congress and actually like lobbied,
Wow.
in session. And Dee Snider, they were like, he made a couple points and whatever. John Denver were like, well, that's a really wholesome. And Zappa, like, briefcase open and just fucking disrobe. They're all like, get this fucking guy. I swear to God.
I love it. So what, was he assassinated for being this right? Like, how did he die? Did they kill him?
Prostate cancer.
That sucks.
And he loved his Winstons. Loved
Wow.
him. And there's the YouTube rabbit hole. All of that
I'll have to
Congress.
check him out. I'll have to give him a chance just for you, Blair.
All that Congress stuff is on
Zappa
YouTube.
block this whole time.
Right, you can
Okay.
watch it.
Cool. The
There's
briefcase thing got me. I'd love to watch that.
There's also lots and lots of talk show appearances. One, he's like
That's cool.
real sick.
Oh, that sucks, dude.
And smoke, and
Yeah.
maybe it's even Barbara Walters is like, what do you like?
Should
what
you be doing that?
And he's
Frank?
like, at this point, he's like, I consider cigarettes a food group, and right now this is my favorite food group.
Yeah.
But I mean, composing, many instrumentalists,
Okay.
and like full
I haven't
sobriety.
given him enough credit.
Full sobriety, like there is no fucking partying in this band, and goodbye if you
Wow,
do.
good for him. A real
I mean,
fucking
he didn't
pro.
do any. He just loved his Winstons,
Yeah.
and maybe sex too. I don't know,
Right,
but
right.
and naming children odd names. Dweezil, Moon Unit, Ahmet,
Moon Unit, God, I
and
remember
Diva.
that.
I mean,
So there are things I know about Frank Zappa that definitely turned me off, but I should give his music a fair chance.
that's the cover art to a record called "Ship Arriving Too Late to Save a Drowning Witch," which I mean,
So
you can
silly.
see it. right?
Yeah.
There's a tune
A
on
great
there.
abstraction.
There's a tune on there called Valley Girl. It's from like '83.
Okay.
And that's literally where, oh my God, gross
Yeah.
me out, gag me with
Is
the
that where it
spit.
came from? Good
Yeah.
for him. I do
Anyway,
that voice to this day.
if you ever want to get into the actual music, talk to somebody first because
Yeah.
he's got 60.
Well, obviously, I'll ask you.
Well, I don't have all of it.
You're like, look, I'm busy. Don't.
No.
No, I'm just kidding.
I don't care for a lot of the early 60s stuff.
Okay. See,
And
I think that's what turned me off. Is I was looking at the '60s stuff along the time that Captain Beefheart was also doing all that. I don't like Trap Mask Replica either. Throw it out.
yeah.
Like, that's why I specifically said Her Eyes Are a Blue Million Miles. I was like, nah.
In the 80s, he had done everything he could do, so everything was experiment. So I
Okay.
haven't even touched that stuff, really.
Interesting.
But 70s Zappa,
Is that where it's at?
for me.
All right,
For me.
cool. Well, I want to hear what you like.
Your notes.
Okay. So I think that was it as far as honorable mentions goes. Like, honestly, I know you've got some, like, pod questions that you like to ask. I've got notes on them.
Okay.
Bang the table.
All right. So you did stick around long enough to catch this with more. So
Yes.
Unfortunately, I'm not gonna catch you off guard.
No, I came prepared.
Coffee with anybody of your choosing, dead or alive,
Right.
who and why?
I picked Queen Elizabeth I.
Whoa.
This is who I always pick. She was the first real feminine power. She was the first feminist.
Love
dude.
it.
Queen Elizabeth I is a badass.
Nice.
Like, you want your socks knocked off with a piece of history? Look at some of the stuff this woman did.
Really?
She was out of this world. So freaking powerful. So good at. They called her the Virgin Queen because she wouldn't marry anybody. That doesn't mean she wasn't sleeping with people, though. She had, like, the Prince of Spain, like, all these people on her heels all the time. Be like, oh, well, maybe I'll marry you. Maybe. Like, maybe for some more exports, maybe. And so she did that. She used her, queenliness and people wanting to be king. You know, they wanted to be king, so people were chasing her around.
You better fuck me and be good at it and bring a bunch of stuff.
And then I'll still only think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she was a badass. And so, yeah, crazy stuff happened to her in her childhood, like the history with King Henry VIII, Anne Boleyn, her mother, like Mary, her sister. There's just so much to unpack when it comes to Queen Elizabeth I's childhood, her reign, and her lifetime. Like, she is fascinating start to finish. This is another person I wrote a 13-page paper on for that same
What
school.
the fuck is the deal with the 13-page papers?
They were just really churning them out there. They really wrote us hard.
Okay.
They forced me into an education, kicking and screaming, and because of that, I have OG icons like Queen Elizabeth I. You know, but yeah, apart from just using her beauty and allure to string along different princes with the promise of marriage, she was just fierce. She would keep the heads of her enemies on pikes outside of her castle. She survived smallpox, which was just unheard of at that point. She had scars all over her face from it.
Oh my.
And
For
she
life?
Yeah, that's why she wore the white makeup. She would wear layers and layers and layers of it. They'd pull it off in huge chunks, like big masks.
Seriously?
Yeah, it had lead in it too. Yeah. And so she'd do that to maintain that with the red wigs and stuff, you know, as she was when she was a youth, pale and redheaded. And yeah, she got her money's worth out of that reign. And she was also just really savvy politically. She really got her due justice from the life that she was given, and she made absolutely the most of it. I know I say like the life that she was given, she was a queen, but if you really do start to research her, some of the stuff they did to her as a child was absolutely heinous, and King Henry VIII was a complete monster, and that was her dad.
Gross.
So, you know, there's that. Yeah, very. So even after all of that, she persevered and became just ruthless and feared and powerful and just refused to die, which I have a lot of respect
Did you
for that.
do this fucking bizarre thing in grade school where you'd sing the Henry VIII I Am song and some kids are up and some are
Yeah,
sitting?
the beheading game. Mm-hmm.
Well, this was just like in music class. It was just a silly, and it's like, anybody look at what we're...
Right. Well, I mean, you know, Ring Around the Rosie, pocket full of posies. She evaded the plague by moving castles all the time. She stayed ahead of it.
Wow.
That's the only reason, yeah.
Huh.
She would stay right ahead of the plague and just move castles right ahead of it. So,
Bucket lists.
Bucket list. I have a professional bucket list and then a personal bucket list. I had to separate these two things.
No. And your number ones.
Is it? Okay.
On each.
On each, okay.
Yeah.
My professional bucket list is just like my art and music being seen. And then like building a good community on my YouTube channel. I really love talking to people like on the channel and stuff, and just like really having just an audience base that I can really talk to.
Like talking to people like via
In the comments and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I've just been really...
Is it pretty clean, or do you get some?
I'm small enough that I don't have any problems. I've had a couple hecklers here and there. My favorite heckle so far was, and YouTube strips them from the page before anybody can see them. Like the auto mods are pretty good, and then I see it on the internal side. But this one time, this guy said, "This video made me want to kill myself,"
Oh
and I
my
was
God.
like, "I've made it." Thank you.
I have a hater.
Thank you. Like I pissed somebody off on another like a meme website once, and they came and they found my YouTube and they downvoted every video, and I was like,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pushing
Good enough
it
to
all.
hate,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I definitely want my YouTube channel to grow. I kind of encompass like the art and the YouTube and the music all as one thing. Like, and yeah, I really want.
So that's profesh.
That's
What
my
about
profession,
personal?
the art and the YouTube music. My personal goal is I want to start a farming community.
Really?
I know that seems like kind of a left hook.
No.
Yeah, I'm super passionate about starting a 200 and under population farming community.
What does that mean?
If you keep it under anytime a group of people goes over 200 people, you start to see them as abstractions and numbers and not humans anymore. The only time you can actually keep a community where you are like leading a community or part of a community where you're not in a situation where you're going to be stealing from your neighbors or not knowing what's going on, it's 200 and under. Anytime a group of humans moves over 200, that's when we that's when we no longer see our people as people. We see them as numbers.
So this is a food growing and sharing.
The reason that it's a farming community is because almost all the food in the West is poison, and it's half the reason I'm as sick as I am. Like it's half the reason all of us are as sick as we are. It's definitely the reason why every woman I know has an autoimmune condition, is severe mineral deprivation. Like our brains are starving. We all think we have mental illness. It's mineral deficiencies. It's vitamin and mineral deficiencies.
Coming from our food?
Not coming from our food.
Not coming from our food.
It's a lack of it, and it literally
Because
starves your brain.
Pesticides made that up?
We actually overfarm our land to the point where we're not getting nutrients in the food. That's why some of the apples you eat taste like water, and apples that you eat that are like local grown in farmlands where they rotate their crops and stuff smell like apples. Like they taste and smell like food. I didn't know that apples had a flavor until I started going to the farms in my area and like people that know how to farm land and regenerate the soils of like nitrogen and all the different minerals and stuff and switch crops. We don't do that here. We do big farming and we deplete things until the soil is dead and then we still keep going.
Well, about 15 years ago was when the Honeycrisp became
I love those.
known to me. Mm-hmm. And there's a dude, oh my God, Chris Jones. Amazing writer. Just incredible. He was participating a lot on Twitter back then and just writing these killer pieces. And I mean, talk about, read Elvis's fan.
Really?
Oh,
That's cool.
Fan. And sometimes he would reply back to me on Twitter. I'd just be like,
fan girl over here.
But we discovered Honeycrisps around the same
They're
time.
so good.
And then all of a sudden that pizzazz about the Honeycrisp started to fall off, and I met and tweeted him one day, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, now they're just apples.
They don't taste good anymore."
Well, it's like it's still the apple that I buy,
Right.
but it's not like when they came out
I get these jumbo Honeycrisps from a farm near me, and you can smell. Like I put them in the very back of my Honda, like a CRV with a big wagon back. I put them in the very back, like I can smell them from the front. It is fragrant. Like
Very
it's
cool.
a crazy sensation to like actually eat fresh food again. When I bought my house, the people before me had planted mature asparagus, and I didn't think I liked asparagus until I tried asparagus that had nutrients in it, and it was like, oh yeah, it takes like 7 years of planting for them to actually produce crops. Asparagus is very time consuming and labor intensive. Yeah, once you get them going, they're going, but. It was so good. And like, you know how asparagus like makes your pee smell like asparagus? Dude, this was next level. It was like a freaking stink bomb in the house. Like we had to flush the toilet after we peed. It was so bad. And I was like, okay, it's like, because it had so many more vitamins, so many more nutrients, and it was alive. Like it had all the stuff in it that you need. And yeah, I have completely used food to heal so much of what has been wrong with me.
Nice.
And yeah, I'm very passionate about it. I learn more and more about it every year. And I really do aim to create a refuge for women with autoimmune conditions to just farm food that they can actually eat, raise their kids, and have a place where we can be proud to have a community of
Yeah.
people that you know
Yeah.
are feeding each other, caring for each other, know each other's names, and as soon as we get over 200, I want to start another one right next door and have somebody lead that. And
Cool.
just have. I want it to spread out all over the U.S.
Given the ability to visit your past self, any age you're choosing, what age are you choosing, and what are you saying?
Okay, so this was a hard one, right? I'm sure this is a hard one for a lot of gals. I picked 12.
Okay.
And I was trying to find this in the, like, say this in the best way possible. You know, because you always want to go back and warn yourself about all the guys that are going to assault you later. You're like, hey, don't trust him, right? So I know most women, when given the honest choice, would pick not getting assaulted repeatedly over the years, right? Don't trust them, right? By name, right? So you want to go and you want to, like, change the trajectory of your life. But I thought about it, and I was like, okay, really boiling it down, don't seek validation, or I wrote it down. Let me check my notes. Don't seek validation or love from the men and boys around you. I would warn myself of the men I should not have trusted and assure myself that a healthy love would come later, but to focus on my own passions regardless of relationships. And to surround yourself with women who don't compete with you. Being liked is not only overrated, the desire for it can damn your choices. I tell myself the only thing wrong with me was my environment and to never ever take the pills doctors were pushing on me. I never needed them, and they did irreversible damage to my brain and body that I still suffer from. That's where my nerve conditions came from. I may well never recover from them. And above everything else, if I had to reduce it to one sentence, it would be to trust my gut right away and always, because I'm usually right.
Excellent. Well said.
Thank you.
Well written.
I did put a lot of thought into that one.
Okay, and I'm reading the question. I'm saying the questions for folks that don't know.
Yeah.
What? So Fear Factor.
Yeah.
Right. Early reality TV show where
Eat
you
the bugs.
you eat the bugs, you win the prize. This is not that. This is real life. You got to get from point A to point B, and in the middle is your ultimate number one source of willies, heebie-jeebies, creeps. What is it?
So not if I can't pick failure, because it would definitely be like a big bowl of failure, and I'm just like, don't make me do it, you know. Trying and failing, that stops me from starting a lot of things. Like the fear of failure is so big. But if we're not going with abstract fears, cannot stand deep water. Like I'm from an island. I've spent plenty of time on the ocean. I've kayaked in the Atlantic. I've been on sailboats through Lake Michigan where all you can see around you is water. I don't ever want to do that again. I don't ever want to do that again. Like, I love the ocean. I want to be near it and smell it and hear it. I don't want to be on top of it in a boat. I don't want to fly over it. I don't want to be out there. Deep blue sea with no land around me and like marine life right below me. If I think about it too long, I'll start to be like, I can't even. And then just anything to do with the deep ocean or being lost at sea.
Terrifying.
I'm gonna tell like a micro story real quick. My fiance spent some time in Japan. And
cool.
Very cool.
That's bucket list for me.
Me too. My dad also spent time in Japan because of his business, his jewelry business.
Nice.
So he was there for several months. Put the bug in my head early. And then, Thomas has spent some time in Japan as well. And when Thomas was in Japan, he was floating on an inner tube in the Japanese Sea and stopped paying attention and floated way out just enough to where,
I don't like this story all of a sudden.
Be haunted like myself. His coworkers, I was like, you need to tell your coworkers that story. Now they message him randomly in the middle of the week, be like, I'm so glad you're alive, man. Because like literally he knew the Japanese word for help. And so he just started, I don't know it, but he just started screaming it. And these two men on the docks jumped in, like pulled him to shore, right? And then they get to the beach. And then this giant man stands up. These two little men, rescue him. These two Japanese men. Everyone on the beach is staring at him like you just pulled like this sea monster out of the ocean. But I literally wake up in a cold sweat some nights where I'm like, you could have drifted way into the ocean on an inner tube. Like that happened in your life. How do you not wake up every day screaming because that happened in your life, So anytime I really need to feel afraid, I just think about being on only an inner tube.
So I'm huge Tom Hanks fan.
Yeah.
I don't think I haven't seen all of his movies, but I don't think
I've seen so many Tom Hanks movies,
done
dude.
a movie
for sure.
One of my favorites is Castaway.
Hell yeah, absolutely. One of the best Tom Hanks films.
However, I'm not.
The ice skate.
No, that's fine. I got no problem with that. But I'm not making a raft to get off the island.
Yeah, no, I'll die there.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No, I'll take my chances on the sand every day. Every day.
Uh,
He did make it out
And
in the movie.
the fucking
But he lost
whale.
Wilson.
I know. The whale
God,
that's
dude,
following him.
I literally forgot about the whale. Dude, that whale probably saved his life.
It did. It 1,000%
It
cared for him,
He was
guided
like,
him.
yeah.
But
Dude,
it would also
dolphins
look
and
at
whales
him.
save people all the time. Oh, that's so scary.
Yeah. Okay. Last but not least, please complete this for me. The world would immediately become a better place in which to live, if only.
Okay, now this is my across the board answer. I'm gonna not read what I wrote. I'm gonna just simplify it. If we don't have people performing cannibalism all the time, like there's not cannibals running around the streets all the time.
Right.
Have you noticed that? Have you noticed that like globally people aren't eating each other?
Yeah.
Cannibalism is like kind of low on the totem pole as far as human problems goes. And I think that is really interesting that like we have no problem not eating each other, but we can't stop assaulting each other. Like sex-based crimes, especially towards children, are the number one cause of life derailment, mental illness, everything. Like Freud proved it. If people would just stop molesting children, we would stop having problems. Like period. So I really think that if we could like as a species offer the same stigma to assaulting children as we do to cannibalism, that we could achieve the same goal, because literally it's like there are people starving all over the globe and they're not eating each other.
You could have gone with, I thought you were going to say like
roller coaster, right?
That's how we're going to start punishing people.
We're going to start eating these people, all right? No, honestly though, it's more of a stigma to eat a person than to assault a child.
Yeah.
What's up with that? Like
I don't.
I'm like, Blair, I came here for an answer. Answer me. No, I really do believe that we have the power to stigmatize things as a species, and that we picked cannibalism and we can pick assaulting children as well.
I love it. That's a great answer. Have you seen Bill Burr's cruise ship bit?
He's so funny. No, tell me.
Just like pandemic happens, and he's like, not gonna lie, traffic's opened up a little bit on the 101. I'm less grumpy. Mm-hmm. And he goes, there's too many of us. Yeah. Here's what I think we should do. You know, whatever the regimen is, send 5,000 out on a cruise ship, and just, you know, you got the whole party deck. Everybody's having a good time, and somebody just snipes it. Oh my God. And we 5,000 people.
Titanic
just a good mix
How funny.
of shitty, medium, and good people. And then jobs, because we're going to need to rebuild the cruise ships. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And it will thin out the population a little bit.
It's valid. I love it. The cruise ship especially. I want to go with George Carlin's idea of taking all the criminals and putting them in the four corners. And like, all the murderers take one state. All the molesters take another state. All the crazy drug addict robbers take this state. And then once a year, we'll open up the gate and you can all play with each other. It's a great bit.
All right. So, Tasha Ransom Art on Instagram. TashaRansomArt.com is the website. Tasha Ransom Art also on YouTube.
That's right.
Other plugs?
Dude, that's it. Check out my YouTube, guys.
I meant to ask you, I think even like right before you got here, I might have seen a reel of perhaps you and Morgan live painting.
That could be. Yeah, we've definitely live painted together. You can see videos of us live painting on my website and on my YouTube.
No, maybe it was your website. Mm-hmm. No. That sounds very straight stage frighty for...
You know, the nice thing about live painting on stage is my back is to the audience. They need to see the canvas. So, you know, I make sure I got interesting outfit in the back.
But then they're seeing...
Cover the parts of me I don't want them to see, you know?
But then they're seeing the thing that you're making.
Yeah.
That doesn't give you...
I mean, the part of me that was... I started out in high school as a makeup artist working in the theater. You know, I've done things on and off stage for a long time. I am used to people watching me work. Okay. You know, I'm used to crowds around me while I'm doing the makeup, or, you know, a whole busy salon of people watching and commenting while I'm doing the hair. So for me, it is not as hard for me to perform a task like that, like a muscle memory based task. Even just playing instrumental guitar is less stage fright. It's the singing component of it. Mm-hmm. It's using my voice, like, because I can be silent when I'm up there painting. They're not expecting that showmanship.
Yeah. Was there anything that you had hoped that we would cover that we didn't?
I love this question. I wrote a note.
Okay.
I think that especially due to the nature of your podcast, which I just adore.
Thank you.
It's such a good idea. You're so dedicated to it. I really admire specifically the dedication because I know how much outreach it takes, and the fact that you're collaborating with other human beings is like you're swimming upstream already right there. So you do an amazing job of like actually producing these, getting them out
Thank
regularly.
you.
Like
Gosh, you're about to make me blush.
you deserve to feel proud of it. You have a great
Thanks.
structure around what you're doing. I think it'd be cool to ask people what mixtape changed their life. You know, because you're doing the 4 albums, and like one of my albums is a comp album, and as you heard me describe, every single one of these has its origins tied back to a mixed CD or a mixtape or a comp or a playlist is what we're calling them now. But
Damn it, I got derailed telling you about cameras, and when the third set wasn't working, my cousin was like, "Dude, get these are discontinued, but they're still at Target. There's a couple here and a couple there." And so I looked at that if you look at a store, Target and whatever store, we've got two, and you
right,
go there and it's like, God damn it, we don't.
yeah.
Anyway, I went to one Target, they only had one, so I went to another one, and there was the creepiest social skill lackingest motherfucker working in the electronics department. And I mean, like, I see the employee talking to a couple. They are in the middle of a thing. You know, these people are trying to buy whatever the thing is, and I can tell by the vibe that it's kind of close to ending. And I can see that what I want is it's in the case, so I need somebody with the key. And then so I'm kind of lingering, and it's like neither side of this over here is moving the thing along. It's not going anywhere because he is so awkward.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, I was like, I just need you to. And he's like, I'll be with you in a second. I was like, okay. Like, we're literally
We are all
the
hostages
only
now.
4 people in the whole department. I'm not cutting in front of any.
Yeah.
It's all wrapped up. You just fucking won't tie it up. Anyway, they finish, and he turns and does this ultra. Oh, thanks for coming in. Is there anything I can help? As if we didn't already have I'm a fresh new customer that just
Weird.
walked in. I'm like,
He was fried by the last guy.
I was like, okay, I just need.
Key
You're supposed to
open.
have camcorder. I need the. And he goes, I'm sorry, sir. What's a camcorder? And I was like,
Oh no, we're old, Blair. We're old now.
bro, like you work in the
Yeah.
electronics department. It says it
It says it on the box.
on the bin
yeah.
tag on the box. Probably when you go boop and says it.
Man.
Like, how do you not know what a camcorder is?
Yeah, I had somebody not know what the millennium was recently, and I was like, I gotta go. You've never
But-
heard of it's when the year 2000, everybody thought we were all gonna die. No. Mayan apocalypse, anyone? No, not that time either.
I think that the world socially
Did end.
became a weird place real freaking quick. And it's like that dude, we used to keep all those people at home and like give him a paper route. So
He had a skill, a very good skill.
Stock,
he repaired
work
radios.
work in a
so
factory,
good. Yeah.
or a warehouse stocking,
Right.
but customer facing with knowledge you have to access and communications.
Yeah.
Now they're just waiting tables and shit.
We're running out of people with life experience, and there's no life experience for them to learn the life experience.
So, thank you. That's all very nice of you to say. I do think it's important for us to sit down and talk to one another and share stories and knowledge. And so that's very, very sweet of you to say all of that.
I'm so happy to be here. I really appreciate the conversation, especially with the musical interest, and I love that somebody had to sit down and listen to 4 albums I recommended. That's crazy. Like, I was just like, wow, you're going to listen to all these. Like, what a compliment, I'm definitely somebody that has always communicated with music, and when you send somebody, like, a song, and they're like, and then you ask them, like, hey, did you listen to that song? They're like, what song? I'm just like, okay, you just handed my heart back to me on a platter.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be able to share music.
Delete from context.
Literally, yeah. Like, oh, I see. Never mind.
Very cool. Thank you so much for the time. It was very nice to meet you. And again, thanks to Morgan for giving you recommendations
Shout out to Morgan Agason, morganagusonart.com.
that warranted you to trust her and
That's
come
right.
do
That's
this.
right. Morgan and I are homies. You can find both of us vending at Crossroads First Friday through Art Garden KC, artgardenkc.org. And yeah, show up in the Crossroads. We're both going to be there every first Friday from now until October.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Blair.
Talk to you soon.
Awesome. Flippin' so